Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Show. So happy to have you with me this evening. It's a little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And yes, Mike, I'm not perfectly on time. Why is that, Mike? For those of you who remember, Mike was doing a show for the past couple shows. Appreciate him. I hope you enjoyed Sharpe Way Neocon edition for like 2 shows, but all good. You know, I love Mike. He did a wonderful job. Everyone loves him. I love him too. I am back though. I was away for several days. I am now returned. And now I've decided, I know he did the AMA yesterday, which good. And I'm going to do one today. Yes, I couldn't do one yesterday, so I decided to do one today. And I wanted to start it with a very specific idea. And that was what happened. And the thing that bothered me, which was the idea of the parade. Now, I wasn't 100% happy with the parade in general, just the concept of it. But the world wasn't ending. I think it was a big deal, right? With the Army's 150th parade, birthday parade. Go for the Army. Happy birthday, my fellow soldiers. I do love you guys. I mean, you're not as cool as us. But anyway, yes. Like that. And the president's birthday. Happy birthday, president. All good. But if you're going to do it, you got to do it real. You got to really do it. If you're going to make this happen, you got to really make this happen. And they did not. And that's the part that I think was terrible. We did not look great with this parade. We looked terrible. We looked embarrassingly bad. We looked weak in every way you could imagine. It was not great. Why do I say that? Well, Larry, so what? When we do you want to spend a whole bunch of money? Did you want to spend a bunch of this or that? Do it right or don't do it. Right? Do it right or don't do it. You see how the Koreans do it. You see how the Russians do it. You see how the Chinese do it. They're rocking the world. We're looking and going, oh my God, it's amazing. It's amazing. And what do? A goddamn joke. Our shit was embarrassing. It was like half-ass this, half-ass that, some historical notes on shit. Well, we all of a sudden now we got to be woke when it comes to that stuff. I don't mean to be the woke. I'm not doing that, but like we got to talk about it. And then we had it's civil war, and we got men and women and black and white. Old. That's not how that shit worked back then. So just do it real, right? And they talked about Buffalo soldiers. Okay, if you don't know, Buffalo soldiers were black regiments. Well, then just do a black regiment. Just show it. Many guys marched decently. It was embarrassingly bad. And you're saying, well, Larry, do you want to look like you're horrible warriors and authority? If you're going to do the goddamn parade, do the damn parade or don't do it. And I really believe that. People looked at it and went, what? That's what we're doing? I'm going to show you some pieces. It was, see, Mike brings it right away. You should just start in the bad army parade. Hard work. Thank you, Mike. See, Mike's a Marine like me. You have Marines out there? That shit would have been tight. Tight. They were like diddy bopping around like whatever. Why we got to be here? If you feel that way, why are you in a parade? Why'd you bring that unit in? If that unit can't march, don't bring that unit into the parade. This is not rocket science. I would ask any of you to watch Marines march and see that go. Mike is 100. See, Mike do it. See, Mike and I, we were watching like, what is this? Like, what is this? Are you kidding me? Totally cringeworthy. It was bad. David says it. The Trump military was a snooze fest. He was snoozing. They put him to sleep. This was for him. And they put him to sleep. Well, I'm going to show you a couple of pieces of it so you see what I'm talking about. Some of you guys might not think. I'm going to give you a couple pieces that I just wanted to vomit during most of this damn thing. It was really bad. Just really bad. Let me see if I can get a couple pieces of this that I could show you so you'll see what I'm talking about. If you can see him on this side. Here, let me show you. Here, these are the, here come the Army soldiers who are marching. And he just says, look, they're clapping. Oh, great. Soldiers are marching tight, right? Marching tight. This is tight
The
marching.
U.S. Army deployed large numbers of troops.
They're not even on top. They're not swinging their arms.
The first contingent of U.S. Army advisors
They're not even on
in Vietnam
look at that.
in the late 1950s.
Could that be sloppier?
And that quickly grew to a small team of around 100.
A couple of them swinging their arms, a couple not.
To more than 600 over the next decade.
What?
As the war intensified,
and now we're talking about the historical troops numbers. Who gives a shit?
Government and the communist insurgents supported by North Vietnam intent.
And the worst part is, you're supposed to do a military parade. The reason why we don't do the reason why we don't do these parades is we don't have victories. We used to have parades when we had victories. Well, we don't win any wars anymore, so we don't bother having parades anymore. So what do? Instead of saying, here's the Vietnam era because we won Vietnam. Oh, wait, we didn't. Yeah. Well, here's the, oh, wait, we didn't win that one either. Wait, we don't have that one either. You're going to drop $45 million on this thing. Okay. God damn it. Give me my money's worth. This is my money's worth. This is a goddamn joke. This is not my money's worth. If you're going to drop that amount of money, right? All right. Here's the, you might, well, that's old school, Larry. That's not new school. Okay. I'm going to show you new school. Here's new school army. If this is the way the army is, I hope this is not an example of our actual army. I hope it's not. I hope it's not. But here we go. Here's today's army.
The First Armored.
The first armored,
division, nicknamed Old Ironside, is the oldest, most recognizable armored division in the United States Army.
It's nice.
As part of the buildup for World War II, cavalry and reconnaissance units
they're not even in step
together to form the First Armored Division in 1940.
Look at this guy bopping in the back.
Here,
no
division hit harder or moved faster than the First Armored.
The president of the United States, you
really
loser.
led the way. During Desert Storm, they engaged in some of the largest tank battles in Army history that were decisive victories, shattering enemy formations. Based in Fort Bliss, Texas, America's Tank Division is currently supporting missions in 20 countries across 5 continents. From World War II to today, Old Ironside.
Yeah, oh, so embarrassing. Okay, hold on. All right. I'm going to show you, now I'm going to show you kids. I pulled this one on purpose. This is Marines that some mom, I'm not joking, some mom pulled out her phone and happened to watch young Marines doing their work. This is not like prepared. This is average, everyday Marines. Some mom, I'm not joking, pulled this off her phone. I didn't want to get the Marine Corps drill team will embarrass anybody. So that was an unfair. I was going to pull them, but I thought that's unfair. The Marine Corps drill team is probably one of the best on the planet. So I said, that's unfair. I don't want to pull them out. I'm pulling out Joe Schmo, average Marines that a mom took pictures of. Here we go. Do you hear the boots? That's marching. Look at those arms swinging. That's marching. I want that on my parade, or get the fuck off my parade ground. If I don't have that, why am I here? And this is just dudes. This is regular Marines. That was a mom who took pictures of Marines. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm blown away by how bad this is. Right? I'm blown away by how bad this is. This is for the president of the, you could like Trump, you could hate Trump, whatever you think. It's the president of the United States, and the world is watching, and you diddy-bopped around like you didn't know what the hell you were doing. Patty says it. I expect to synchronize drills. Me too. Me too. Jazz said, Jazz says, yes, I agree with you. I do hear the boots. Yes, you're supposed to. Yes, you're supposed to. So I love when Staff Sergeant Sharpe. Yes, yes, Staff Sergeant Sharpe is hosting the show because you're marching. Yes, that is correct. Yes, that is correct. So, yeah, Mike says, I knew you'd lose it on that prayer. 100%. 100% I lost it. It's embarrassing. And you might want to say to yourself, okay, well, all right, that's just normal. No, I got something else for you. I just want to make sure we're clear on this. This here is other parts of the world. The other people in the world make us look bad. And I'm not even going to show you when the North Koreans start marching. I'm not going to show you when the Russians do May Day. I'm not even going to show you when the Chinese do the red square. I'm not, because you'll want to cry. You will literally be like, I'm not American anymore. You will literally just, if I show you that, you will renounce your citizenship tonight. I don't want you to do that. So I'm not going to go there. But I'm still going to show you something that should still embarrass you. Should still embarrass you. This is the regular people, like the regular soldiers, like not the crazy, the regular soldiers out of Uganda. Uganda makes us look bad. And this is us behind them. Diddy bopping. They put us in the, we don't even have our flag unfurled. This is the army, not even unfurled. They don't have their... I'm getting super triggered. Tanzania makes us look bad. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Tanzania is embarrassing us. What is going on here? I'm not even done. Hold on. Netherlands are a joke. I don't know. That's fine. Kenya killing it. Get some Kenya. Burundi getting it. I mean, when Burundi's beating you, that's a problem. Yes. I nearly dropped my phone. Uganda. When Uganda's beating you, you got a problem. Like, you got a goddamn problem. Here's Nepal killing it.
Хүндэд эдний өндөр Филиппин улсын цэргийн албан хаагч тэмцэгсаага алхам орж ирж байна.
That's marching at least. I mean, that's kind of weird marching, but they're marching. That's something. Right? All right. Anyway, I yapped away. I don't want to spend forever on this because I'll start screaming all day. But my point being, it made me feel like we were a failing empire. That's what it made me feel like. I'm not joking. It made me feel like this is just trying to be cool when we're not. And that bothered me tremendously. That is why I was so bothered by this. Like, we were trying to be cool, but we couldn't do it right. That we would mess it up. It wasn't exciting. It wasn't interesting. It wasn't powerful. It didn't make us look good. And if you're gonna do this, it's a propaganda piece. I mean, that's what it is. Let's not play. It's a it's propaganda. It's what it is. Do it right or don't do it. This was a mistake, not because of the parade. The Army has every right to do a great parade for their 250th. I mean, you can't say great Army, but anyway, besides the point, they have every right. If this was a Marine Corps parade, I don't know. I can't imagine that being the case. I cannot imagine. It's unfathomable to think a Marine Corps parade would be this bad. This is like a parade from, like, I don't know, the state fair in Indiana. Like, that's what this is. And this is for the President of the United States. 250th birthday. It's like we are a failing empire. And boy, I don't like that. That does not feel good. I'm clearly not alone. Matt says, we are a failing empire. Army got it right. Dave says, we are a failing empire. Kim says, that's because we are a failing empire. Well, then this is appropriate then. Because we don't have parades because we don't have victories. We used to have victory parades. That was the thing that America didn't usually have, like the yearly parade or blah, blah, blah. That's not the thing Americans usually do. But we used to have, after a war, we'd have a parade to see, look, we won the war. We're awesome. It's great. We had that. And people like that, right? It wasn't like, because we love our president. It was because we love our soldiers and we won the war. That sounds good. I like that idea. Is it? What's that going to end? Fine. Yeah. Okay. This was like, we haven't won a war in 70 years. Was it 80 years now? We haven't won a war in 80 years. Yes. IC says, even if the unit didn't like Trump, they should want to represent themselves properly. Yes. They made themselves, Trump and the U.S. look bad. Correct. Accurate, IC. Correct. That was terrible. Yes. Case Sean says, I just left the town fair in Indiana. And I bet the parade was better than that. I bet their parade was better than that. The marching band was probably good. Some of those high school marching bands, they rock it. Like some of them do. I bet the high school marching band was better than us. Probably, you're like, wow, it was great. Yes. Shelly says, The Marines marched perfectly for my nephew's funeral. That's because Marines do. We take it seriously, right? We take it seriously. There's a piece in the movie Glory where they're spending so much time drilling the troops to march. Why do you march, right? Why does it matter to march in today's world, right? In today's world, marching on the field is no longer a thing, right? That was a thing. Many years ago, marching into the field, taking orders within the field, moving the units around was a thing. Boxing, that was a thing. Napoleonic Wars and before, that was a real thing. Now, marching is not required for war. We don't march into battle anymore. It's not a thing. We don't do that. Why does it matter? It matters because it tells them that they care about attention to detail. They care about discipline. That is what marching does. It is discipline. It is attention to detail. It is a unit working cohesively as one. That's what it is, and that's why Marines care so goddamn much about it. Not that we're going to march into war. When we're capturing buildings, no one's marching. No one cares about that. Cares about that. I can still drill a platoon today. I haven't drilled a platoon in 30 years. That's how old my ass is. And I could still drill a platoon today. Now, Mike had an injury, but I bet Mike could still march pretty good, even with his injury, right? He could still march. Injury, a little hobble maybe, but still, that's because of injury. I could drill a platoon today. You put me in front of a platoon right now, I'll drill them right now. Because it matters. It matters. Anyway, I've yapped away. I'm clearly triggered. I'll stop. Let me go back if I could. Guys, it is an AMA. Ask whatever you like. I'll go through some questions and comments now. If you like it, click the button known as like. I do want to make sure we're back in action. I have returned. You all may rejoice. I have returned. Anyway, also remember, please do so if you can. If you haven't shared or reposted this, why do you hate the troops? Yes. If you don't share this, you hate the troops. What did you do? Oh, well, they did do that. But don't blame the troops. To be forward, as bad as they were, isn't their fault. And I'm not pandering. You know I'm not pandering. But I'm assigning responsibility where it actually lies, and that is the officer corps. The officer corps failed the president, failed our country. The officer corps should have fixed that shit immediately. They should, as soon as they did the first drill and went, no, stop that. And I remember when I was on I was stationed at Fort Belvoir, which is an Army base in Virginia. And I was a platoon sergeant for the Marines. I was a Marine platoon sergeant there. There's a Marine detachment there. I was a platoon sergeant there. I used to take my Marines and drill them in front of the Army to show them how it was done. I'm not joking. They used to watch. And it was just a schools unit. This was a schools unit. This was reservist schools unit. This wasn't like a drill unit. It was a regular Marine unit. The schools department, Marines rotated out. Many were reservists, back and forth, and they still drilled well. I drilled my Marines every single week. Still to this day. I was thinking that same thing. I watched it go, they can't do that? So when the Army wanted better to drill better, they called the Marines to go out and do it so we could watch. They could watch us. Well, if you're in the Army and you got units that suck at drill, okay, you know when it's happening, get some Marine drill sergeants. It's literally in D.C. Pull some out of Quantico. Quantico's right by D.C. Pull some out of Quantico. Pull some out of the Annapolis. Pull some out of, I don't care, pull some out of Paris Island. You had options, officers. All you did was go, hey, I need some drill instructors. Get them up here to train my soldiers. Done. It would have been done. They didn't do that. The officers failed. So if you don't share or post this, you hate our troops. Don't hate our troops and do anything to you. Don't do that. So share this. That fixes it right there. Please make sure you're following me on Rumble, Facebook, and X. It does matter. If you have not subscribed to Sharpe Way YouTube, please do so. If you want your chat to go right to the front, super chat me on YouTube if you want to, or rant me on Rumble. Either is fine. They're all good. Membership is important. If you can become a member, $29 per month allows you to do more of this and less working. And I was working for 4 days straight. It was a lot of work. Boo-hoo. I know you're scared. So it's fine. I'm back. So it's all good. I do appreciate it, guys. But no matter what, click the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. Yes, today I should be using military terms. Click that button if you would. I'd appreciate it. Let me grab some comments if I could. All righty. I will grab some of these. All righty. Kim says, in my opinion, it was just a look at me moment for Trump. How great I am. Well, that failed miserably, Kim. That failed miserably. So if that's what he was thinking, boy, did he screw that up. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Patty says, just finished watching Mike's show for the first time. Now I get to watch Larry. I'll sleep well tonight. You get both me and Mike. You get two Marines. You get the Larry Sharpe way, which is the regular Sharpe way. Then you get the neocon edition, which is Mike's way. I'm teasing. Mike's not really neocon sometimes. But yeah, he's Republican though. So yes, you get both. You get the Republican version. Now, if I can find me a Democrat who would come on my show, maybe you get a Democrat version too. We'll figure that one out. Maybe. We'll see. But yeah. All right. Let me keep going down here. All right. Matt says Mike would not be late. I know. And he teases me. I saw the beginning of the show. I watched a little bit. I'm like, oh, he starts off giving me shit. It's fine. I give him shit too. So it's fair. It's fair, Mike. You're wrong, but it's fair. It's fair. There we go. All righty. Let's see here. Patty says, sorry we kept Mike long on his show. Me leaning left and talking a lot. We wore him out. I knew Mike would go long. I was literally at the convention and had a couple seconds free while the show was on, right? I'm 3 hours different. I was in California. So it was like 4:30 or whatever, 5, whatever it was. I had some time before the next event. I just finished doing some interviews and I was like, okay, let me go on and see. And it's like, whatever. It was like 2 hours and 10 minutes, whatever it was. I forgot what it was. So, and I'm like, he's running late. Of course he would. And I typed in, I knew he would more than 2 hours. I knew he would. The dude goes freaking 97 hours on his own show. So I knew he'd do at least 3 on mine. I knew he would. So yeah, I knew he would. So, Hey Sue says, happy Father's Day to all the dads in the chat or in your life. Thank you. I am a dad, which was great. I came home last night after midnight. It was late. I took the latest flight in to get back. And both my girls are waiting for me. And guess what they're waiting for me with? Well, guess what they had waiting for me? Yes, KFC. That was my Father's Day. It was past midnight. So they were like, it's Father's Day. Here's your KFC. So I got KFC last night. I sat and ate chicken with my 2 daughters last night when I got home. Amazing start to Father's Day. No complaints. No complaints at all. All good. So yes, yeah, I was very happy. All good. All good. And I had a cup of coffee. Yes, it was midnight. I don't care. I'm immune to coffee by now. So yes. There we go. Matt says, Larry, is it worthless if you eat mostly keto stuff, but not actually full keto? Like if you basically all keto stuff, but also eat fruit or drink milk, or it's just always doing that. Okay, Matt, not only is it a waste, it is harmful. Let me repeat that. Not only is it a waste, it is harmful. The last thing you want to do is kind of eat keto. That's terrible. If you eat all of that meat and fat and all those things, but are not in ketosis, that is harmful for your body. You want to eat it so you're in ketosis. If you're not in ketosis, don't do keto. Eat a Mediterranean diet. Much better for your health. Mediterranean diet's much better for your health if you're not in ketosis. You do not want to be like, well, but I just have ice cream. So now you just have a shitty diet. Bad idea. It is actually harmful, my friend. I tell people this all the time. If you're going to go keto, go keto. The people you'll see, well, I was keto and I had this problem. Were you really keto? Well, mostly keto. That's why you had a problem. No, it is not worth it. It is harmful to your body. Go into ketosis or don't. I'm not joking. It is harmful for your body. Go into ketosis or don't. Either of those are correct. So I hope that makes sense. Now, ketosis is, depending on who you are, it's about 40 to 50 grams of carbs per day or less. If you want to go on a weight loss, it's 20 grams, generally around or less. You can do blood tests. You can do urine tests to see if you're in ketosis. It will help you out. You can also add by using MCT oils, which is like coconut oil and stuff like that. Bulletproof coffee has MCT oils in it. So you can do that to get you something ketosis faster. Now, some people will say, and I'm not sure this is true, you can eat almost whatever you want, but just eat tons of MCT. Tons of MCT. That might be true. But in that case, you're eating other stuff, but you're throwing MCT oil in your body like there's no tomorrow. Now, can you do that? Yes. Here's the problem with that. If your body isn't used to MCT oil, you will have digestive issues badly. You got to kind of wean yourself on. I've been on keto for 15 years now. I can chug MCT oil. It doesn't matter to me. But the average person, it will tear their insides up. It'll really, I'm exaggerating, but you'll feel it. That's what I'll say. So I hope I answered that question. Go on ketosis or don't. If you play this game, flood yourself with MCT oil. The sad part is also MCT oil is expensive. So it's expensive to have this kind of stuff. You're good with it. Enjoy. I'm just saying it is expensive. That's what I'm saying. So I hope that makes sense at least. All righty. Let me go down some more of these if I can. Rick says, say it loud. Larry's back. and we're proud. Oh, thank you. Yes, I like that. Mike says, lol, I cut my show short to watch that. Oh, thank you, my friend. I'm glad. I do appreciate that. Yes. Joel says, this new Sharpe host is something Friday. True. It bothered me tremendously. It did bother me tremendously. 100%. Paula says, I'm a nurse. Our medical unit will be sharper. Yes. Because why would you do this? Why would you show up if you're going to do this? Yes. Patty says, I expected Bill Murray in Stripe stuff. That would be fine too. At least that's exciting, interesting. That would also be fine. That would also be fine. Yes. Dave says, Larry, they had to be in the parade, mandatory fun. All right. Let's say that's true, Dave. You're still going to be in front of a crowd that they thought was going to be millions. It wasn't that big, but they thought it was going to be millions. But on TV and radio and internet probably was millions, right? And in front of the President of the United States, whether you like it or not, he's your commander-in-chief. You don't like that, you shouldn't have joined. Just saying that, right? You shouldn't have joined. He's your commander-in-chief. Hegseth is also in your chain of command. You don't like that, you shouldn't have joined. If you're an officer, you don't like that, resign. I'm not joking. Accept where you are or resign. You're an officer. You can resign whenever you want, right? People don't know this. If you're enlisted, you can't just resign. If you're an officer, you can resign anytime you want. You can resign anytime you want if you're an officer. I'm out. I'm out. So you got a commander-in-chief you can't stand? Why are you still in the military? Get out. Get out. So yes, and so what? Yes, and so what? Yes, absolutely. So, all righty. Mike says, did he bop? And haven't heard that since boot camp. Yes. And they were doing it. You saw it. Yes. Liberty Lady says, what makes me vomit is how much money it cost. U.S. has spending. Yeah. All right. Look, I agree that we shouldn't have spent the money on this. I'm with you. But we were gonna. Okay. I'm in the spot where we're gonna. No worries. Let's make it good then. Let's make it good. Jazz says, compared to the Russian parade a few years ago, I know it's embarrassing. I know, Jazz. It's embarrassing. Just don't do it. Shelly says, my high school marching band was tighter and we were playing instruments. Correct. Yes, I showed you. Marines, just regular Marines, that some mom took her camera out and they were killing it. This wasn't a special Marine Corps drill team, which if I showed you them, again, you'd be, that is amazing. But they're a special drill team. Okay. Kim says, wow, I don't know anything about marching, but that was sloppy walk. Horrible. Yes. Yes. It is. It's, yeah, horrible. David says, I trust Flint, Michigan water more than Trump. That's funny. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah. Matt says, maybe they did it to show how bad we are. Yeah. Jazz says, do they ever practice march throughout the year? Now, they're supposed to be, in theory, Jazz. And as I told you, when I was a Marine Corps platoon sergeant, we had drill when I was a platoon sergeant, we had drill all the time. Even, I remember well, that's not true. We had drill all the time when I was on the ground side. There are two parts of the Marine Corps, the ground side and the air side. The air side is a bit more lax in those types of things because they deal with only air wing. The air wing, they deal with the helicopters, they deal with the planes. But so they're a little bit different, not as aggressive. The ground side, every ground side unit has drill in their orders of the day when it comes to every month. And wherever you go, if you go to place A or go to place B, you march there, right? You don't just go, see you over there. You take the unit together and you march over there, right? When you're going someplace, you do it all the time. You marching is a part of Marine Corps life, right? Marching is part of Marine Corps life. So you do have drill. When I was in the air wing, they didn't have it. My second tour was in the air wing. So I literally put it on a schedule. We had drill at least once a month, preferably once a week. So we do an hour of drill, just getting put together, drilling, going always. And when you go, there's a thing called the inspector general comes by and does an inspection, right? Usually once a year, but depends on what unit you're in, but usually about once a year. When the IG comes by, drill is part of it. You're graded on drill, of course. So, because that's part of being a Marine. So Marine Corps, yes. Army, I assume, but maybe not. I assume they do. I don't know. So, I don't know. Yes. So anyway, Matt says, Larry forgot this wasn't a Rumble. I know I did drop some bombs. I did. Just, yeah. Shelley says, in 1953 to 56, my dad marched every day, twice a day in the Army. Yes. What? You know why, Shelley? because we were worried about combat and war. Yes. Remember, that's right in between Vietnam and Korea. Yes, absolutely. Makes total sense. Monkey see, monkey do. So is the army in a terrible state? Well, they just dropped the ball in the parade. I'm not sure, to be forward with you, but I could see either one of those. I could see both being true. I could see them not being in a good spot, and I could see them dropping the ball. I could see either one of them. I absolutely could. So yes. Peace Logic is over on Rumble. Peace says, greetings from Peace Logic. Catching up on 2 times. Joining conversation momentarily. Oh, thank you, my friend. I'm glad you are back. I am back. I'm glad you are too. So yeah, we will keep going now. All righty. Let me walk down a couple more of these. Liberty says, Larry went to Freedom Fest and came back spicy. We must say, yeah, well, this did get me. Yes. I see. Thank you. I see. Not just president, but commander-in-chief. Remember, this is your commander-in-chief. If you don't like it, I get it. If you're an officer, leave. You are not required. If you are an officer in the military and you hate your commander-in-chief and don't trust him and believe in him, why are you serving him? I'm not trying to be mean at all. I'm not. But you got to make a decision at that point. You are an officer, a commissioned officer in the United States military. If you hate your commander-in-chief so much, it is your responsibility to resign. I'm not being mean. You are responsible for carrying out his orders. If you don't respect him at all, you got to go. Or accept that's who he is and move on from there. That's how that works. Matt said, thank you for the $5. Here I thought I was healthy with all the almond flour and not eating grains and all that. I'm not sure I could ever stop chugging milk and smoothies. Okay, couple things in this one, Matt. You probably are being decently healthy, but almond flour isn't great for you in general, just in general. I mean, it's better. It's better, but none of the flours are good. But almond flour is better. It's fine. It'll do. Not eating grains is a good idea. What you want to do is one of 2 things. Create smoothies that are keto smoothies, and there's tons of them, and create milk that's keto milk. Tons of them out there. It may take some time and energy, but you absolutely can do it. It is doable. It's more challenging, but it absolutely can be done, right? And not just that. There's something in the milk and or smoothies that's triggering you, right? Whatever that is. It's the sweetness or it's the texture, it's something. Find something to replace that. It might be both, right? But it could be sweetness, could be the texture, either one. So begin to cut back. Say you have, I don't know, 3 smoothies a day, whatever that is, right? Go to 2 and fill the third one with something else. And then pull back. You'll see it all of a sudden change. All I can tell you is I used to drink soda every day, all the time. I still love soda. I haven't stopped loving it. I still love soda. Nothing but bad for you. Nothing but bad. I don't even miss it anymore now. It's been 15 years, obviously, but I don't miss it anymore. I had to. What I had to do, now this may not be you, but for me, I couldn't just pull back. It's only 2 times doing this. Cold turkey and pull back. I was addicted to sugary drinks. Addicted. I couldn't have just one. Impossible. I was like an alcoholic. I can't drink just one beer. That wasn't a thing. I mean, I'm not alcoholic in that regard, but I was a soda-holic, I guess. I couldn't drink just one. So I had to cut it completely. Cut it completely. And how did I fill it? I filled it with coffee. That's why I drink so much coffee. I filled it with coffee, right? So coffee is better than soda. Not great. And I tried doing it with, initially I used a lot of sugar. I stopped sugar. And I went to sweeteners, and then I went to stevia only, and then I go less and less stevia. So now my current coffee is far less sweet than soda was. So I have some sweetener in it, so it's a little bit sweet. So I have something that gives me that, because what I think I was missing was the sweetness. So I have a little bit of sweetness in my coffee, but not crazy, a little bit. People have seen me when I drink coffee, I put a little bit in, so I have some sweet. And that's it. That's where I've gone to. It took me time. But when I am very busy and working hard, I will drink a lot of coffee. A lot of coffee. So I hope that's helpful at least. So you want to get yourself in ketosis though, or don't, just to be clear. So Ryan, thank you for the $5, my friend. If I served under Bush and Cheney during my 2 deployments to Iraq in 2005 and 6, you can serve under Trump. That used to be my view until Friday. Yeah, there we go. Yes. I get it. I served under the first Bush and Clinton. 2 different. And I served under both. They were my commanders in chief. I would have done what they told me. I would have. And when I was no longer in that headspace, I got out. but I would have followed the orders. I'm sorry. I served under 3 because Bush was in the middle. I served under Reagan. Reagan was my first. Reagan, H.W. Bush, and Clinton. Those are the 3 that I served under, right? All 3 of them. And then I got out. So that was my 7 years in. That was my 7 years in. So yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Yeah. Or get out, either one. So yes. So let me keep going down here again. So many of these. I appreciate all these, by the way. All righty. Amber says, KARE11, Minnesota interviewed Vance Belter's best friend of 45 years, David Carlson, who confirmed that, is it pronounced Belter? Was a conservative who voted for Trump and was strongly against abortion rights. Okay. I'm not sure where you're going, but I think what you're trying to say with that is you're trying to say who the person was and he's not a Democrat. That's true. There are a lot of Republicans who are saying this guy was a Democrat operative and Democrats get rid of their own. That's, again, you hear me often say Democratic propaganda, Republican propaganda. That's Republican propaganda. That's not real. This guy was not some Democratic stooge. And they go, but he had no kings in his back. Yes, he was also a guy who worked with private companies that did private security and such. He had a fake mask on, and he did it on purpose because he was going to put this stuff out there literally to get people to think that. Remember, he got caught in the middle of his killing spree. He got caught in the middle of it. He wasn't done. He got caught in the middle of it. That's why he was on foot, because they got his car. So it wasn't like he did those 2 and he was done. No, the cops caught him in the middle of it and had a shootout and he ran. That's why he's on foot. So yeah, this is not, if anyone who believes that, anyone who tells you that is someone who lives in a bubble and only listens to Republicans. Totally not true. Not even close. This guy was a Republican. He was a Trump supporter. And the one thing you got to recognize no matter what is, if the people who he had taken out, if he had finished his job that he wanted to, it would have literally changed the outcome of the Minnesota House Assembly. That's how close it is. Minnesota House was like 1 or 2 seats off. He finished his deal. It flips Republican. Yeah, and so that's why the governor, who's Democrat, Waltz, he wanted to have a Republican assembly. Stop. That's not true. This guy was a guy who, for whatever, and I'm moving forward. I'm not saying that the Republicans put him up to it. I'm not saying that. I'm saying this guy did what he thought was the thing, and violence is now a cool thing, I guess, in our world all of a sudden. And if anyone's listening and you read some book that starts with T and then the next couple letters are URNER, and it's about a diary, you read that book, you know, those who know, that shit's not real. That's a story. It's never worked yet. The guy from Oklahoma, about 20 years ago, he thought that was the right answer. It was not. It was not the right answer. Hold on, guys. I got to grab a little emergency right now. I got to deal with it. Hold on one second. I have returned, had something to do with my door real fast. I'm now back. So thank you for that, guys. But yeah, the point is, this is not something that if you think this is some, I don't know. I don't think any group decided to stop this or create this. Is an individual who did something that he wanted to. That's all that is. So that made sense. So, all righty. Ryan says, you got to do your best for the president. No diddy bopping at all. Coming from a drill waiver. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. 100%. You're supposed to. Orthodox Moore says, damn, I know it's bad. It is. It is bad. Pete coming in as you're supposed to. 36 trillion, 213 billion, 581 million, $723,797.07. The national debt. We'll add 45 million to that, Pete, for a very crappy situation. Yes. Jazz says, no pride. Dave says, USA is an embarrassment right now. That was bad. IC says, the team at my brother's military funeral was better than the US. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Amber says the GOP took the fact that Belter served on 2 bipartisan business councils with hundreds of volunteers and received a certificate with Waltz's name on it and turned it into he was a Dem/Waltz appointee. That's propaganda. Not true. I don't think the Republicans or Democrats are behind this at all. I don't buy that at all. Neither one of them is behind it. This is an individual who thought this was the right answer for whatever reason he thought. He thought he was going to start something big and fix something. He wasn't. So, yeah, you're right. That's it. I agree with you. But it does make it sound good, though. Phil, thank you for the $5. Could the Minnesota long-range hole puncher be Charlie India Alpha? Congo, Lebanon, Ivory Coast, food, service, and insurance. He went from being CEO to looking for a job. Weird. Yes, you're right. He did bounce around. Congo, Lebanon. Yeah, he did. Is it possible? Possible. I mean, he does have the skill sets, which is an important piece. That would be possible. But I would bet he'd be former. Is there really a former, though? Good point. Point taken. Is there a former? Maybe. Maybe there's such thing as being former. Maybe. But yeah, my point being, if he is, I would bet he's rogue. Right? If he is, Phil, I would bet he's rogue. That would be my assumption. But yeah. We'll see though. Because if you're actually active, this is small ball. This is too small for you. Right? You would be doing something for like the Congress or the Senate or something like that. Or there'd be multiple at the same time. Like you'd want to knock out like 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 states at the same time, right? You wouldn't do this just here. I mean, Minnesota. Why is Charlie India Alpha care about Minnesota? So that's why I think if he is, he's rogue. If that's true, or it'd be a multiple plan of multiple days, multiple everything, right? Unless you're just trying to distract. Which again, you know what? Maybe distraction. Now you're talking. My conspiracy brain's going, Phil. I mean, distraction, maybe. Could be. In theory, distraction, maybe. So, Ryan, for $2, thank you. $45 trillion make the government holla. It was 45 million, wasn't it? Was it trillion? No, it's million. Oh, you want to, they want to go to, okay, they want to go to trillion. I got it, Ryan. Okay, it took me a second to get there, but I got there. Took me a second, but I got there. Peace over Rumble says, best fruits for keto are blackberries, raspberries, and strawberries. True. If you're going to have fruit, use the berries, right? You put the berries in your smoothie. That's the best one because berries have a lot of good stuff with it, of course, and they're low on carbs. Put in some MCT oil, some coconut oil on top of it to make your smoothie. That you'll be fine. He goes on to say they have low carbs, but you still have to watch how many you have. Must be under 50. True. Typically lower. Correct. Individuals are different. Some people can go as high as 50. Some need to go around 40. You test yourself to figure out where you are when it comes to keto. You test yourself whenever you think appropriate. I tend to keep myself under 20 or 30 every day. I try to keep myself low every day. I try to stay low because once in a while I go up. Like last night I had KFC. That's going to put me up a bit. It's still, again, as I said, KFC is one of the lowest carbs when it comes to fried chicken. It's one of the lowest ones, but there's still carbs in it, right? The herbs and spice, all that kind of good stuff. The breading does have carbs, but it's less than others. Popeyes is just a monster. So that's why I can't really have Popeyes very much because I'll go out. There'll be too many carbs in it. So yes. Peace goes on to say, I mix strawberries with plain organic yogurt. Very yummy. It's less sweet than typical fruit yogurt, but you adjust as it feels. Yes, and what you can do also, by the way, just to make this clear, Matt, follow what Pete's saying. He's 100% correct. Put some berries in the yogurt. Do your thing, and you could put some, fake sugar in, whichever one you prefer. I think stevia is the best one to try. Monk fruit also works very well. You can do the fake ones if you want the saccharin and aspartames. I wouldn't do those if I were you, but people like them. They don't have carbs. I would go with stevia or monk fruit. That's my opinion. Put in a little bit that you like, a little bit sweet. Go that. You could stay keto. That'd be nice. And I know it's a pain in the ass. I know it is. But here's my other opinion. And a lot of people would agree with me. I hope you do too. The more you make your own food, the healthier you will wind up. What does that mean? When you have to make your own food and you choose to make your own food, you will find that you will wind up in the long run eating healthier because now you're not buying food, you're buying ingredients. Big difference. Not just taking you time to make the food. You begin to care what's in it. You'll start thinking about what's in it. You'll stop buying processed stuff. You'll stop buying processed stuff. You'll stop because you're now making things. It's better if you can. So try your best when possible. Now, look, I know people got jobs. I'm not saying, I have decided in my life it's the most important thing. For my daughter and me, we eat together almost every day. I cook 2 meals a day for my kids because that's what I want to do. I want to eat together with my daughter. I care about what we eat. I want to teach her the right way. So I make the food. I take the time out of my day and I do it. I'm not saying you can or should. I'm saying you should move towards that to the best of your ability. That's what I'm saying. Move towards that to the best of your ability, whatever that is. If you're in a spot where you can cook twice a day, 3 times a day, please do it. If you're in that spot, if you're not, do it once a day, once a week, whatever you can do. Move yourself towards the best of your ability in your lifestyle. So yes, P says 100% make food, buy ingredients. It's not that hard. Depends who you are though. What if you got 2 jobs? What if you got kids and a job? It's not easy. I'm not saying you're wrong, Peace. I'm just saying it can be challenging and for people to start trying to the best of their ability. Man, thank you for the $5. It goes on. Onions aren't keto either. Yes, they are. They are, but just in moderation. Remember, you can have some carbs. I eat onions almost every day. I eat peppers every day. That's where my carbs come from. My carbs don't come from my breakfast. My breakfast is almost no carbs. My breakfast every day, this is coming from the keto show. It's fine. My breakfast almost every day is eggs, some type of meat. Usually it's grass-fed ground beef, usually, and sauerkraut. Now, sauerkraut has some carbs, but it's okay because it also has fiber. And of course, I eat it because it's fermented, so it's good for my gut health. That's almost every day. Something like that. That's a similar meal every day. I might have sausages instead of the meat sometimes. I have something else. And if I have some sausage has some carbs, right? There's some carbs in sausage. The one I get, of course, is the lowest carb sausage I can find. It's only organic and it's all non-GMO. I spend the money on food. I spend my money on food, right? You don't see me having a fancy watch, fancy car, none of that stuff. Fancy clothes, none of that. I spend my money on food. That's what I think. That's what I'm not saying you should. I'm saying you what I do. Do as you see fit with your money. Your money, you make it. Do as you see fit. That's what I do. So that's what I eat almost every morning. And then in my coffee every morning, I have MCT oil in my coffee every morning. So that should help to balance out any small amount of carbs I have in my breakfast. The MCT oil in my coffee takes care of that. So then if I snack during the day at all, and I often don't, but if I do, it'll be pork rinds or sausage. That's what if I snack or I don't. I'll often have coffee during the day. I usually have at least 3 cups of coffee a day, sometimes more, but at least 3. And then for dinner, I will have a full salad plus meat. So a full salad plus pork, a full salad plus more grass-fed beef, a full salad plus a steak, a full salad plus some other meat. My salad's going to be in it, onions, not perfectly keto, but keto, peppers, and tomatoes. So all of those have some form of carb, but not much. Officially, by the way, for you guys that say you can't have fruit, officially, peppers and tomatoes are fruit. They are. It's not very sweet. So there are some carbs there, but it's not much. So I keep it under 30, under 20 every day, and I'm fine. But I have some onions in my salad. I have some peppers. I have some tomatoes in my salad. And my salad dressing is only olive oil, tons of olive oil, salt, pepper, and oregano, salt, pepper, oregano. That's it. Sometimes rosemary. I put rosemary in too. So, and that's what I eat almost every day. I'm boring when it comes to eating. Now, if I go out, I go places I'll eat. Like I was out in California. I didn't eat that, obviously. But I'd get into breakfast. It would be sausage, eggs, coffee, my breakfast. No sauerkraut, obviously. It's breakfast in some hotel or something. So no. So I'm eating sausage, bacon, and eggs for my breakfast. I generally don't eat lunch. I only eat twice a day usually, but sometimes 3 times. Depends. If I'm with somebody, I'll eat with them. And if I go out to eat at night, it's going to be steak or pork or something like that. That's what it is. So it's a lifestyle change, man. It's not easy. It's not easy. But you can do it. And what I would tell you is the more, generally speaking, and I know I tease often and I say keto is magic, but there are just so many studies coming out and so many stories coming out that keto solves a lot of problems. A lot. From weight loss to diabetes to cancer to digestive tract issues to having better, periods if you're a woman, all those things. I know it sounds crazy. All I'm saying is do your own homework. There's doctor upon doctor upon doctor coming out everywhere. You're seeing it everywhere. MCT oil, you're seeing it everywhere. Why? Because it's become mainstream. Now, I've been doing it 15 years, and I found some people who've done it more than me, but I'm almost always the guy who's done it longest. There's exceptions, but yeah, I was in Australia a long time ago. So anyway, hope that was helpful at least. Mac was going to say, I cook everything I eat already, all organic. Dude, look, to be forward, if you do that, maybe you don't want to go keto. Maybe you just want to go Mediterranean. If you're not going to be keto, Mediterranean is the answer, right? If you're not going to go keto, Mediterranean, by the way, does have a lot of MCT oils in it. Olive oil is great. A lot of antioxidants in it, right? Full of tomatoes, greens, seafood, all that stuff. So go Mediterranean then. It's still good. I still think keto is the best, but it isn't the only answer. It's not the only answer. There are other answers out there for different people, different answers. So hope that was helpful. Peace over on Rumble. Thank you for the $1. He says, I've watched a bunch of YouTube videos from Dr. Sten Ekberg. I found his info on keto very useful. He's great. True. Ekberg is good and Dr. Berg is good. There's so many of them, right? Grundy does stuff on keto also. Tons of them do it. Yeah, if you can find it, it's the best thing. So Matt, you're already on a good spot, brother. You're already in a good spot. You're already doing good already. So yes. All right, grab some more of this if I can. All righty. Missy says, please share this out on all platforms. Let everyone know that Larry's live with his weekly AMA right now. Thanks. She's right. You should do what Missy says. Why won't you do what Missy says? She's wonderful. She's smart. She's awesome. I love her. And she's right. Do what she says. Share this out. If you don't share this out right now, you hate the troops. We've discussed this already, right? We know this. Why do you hate the troops? Troops, what do they do to you? Nothing. So stop hating the troops. Share this out. That's the answer. Also, please, if you can, follow me on Facebook, X, and Rumble. Do so if you can. It does matter. If you have not subscribed to Sharpe Way YouTube, please do so. And when you do it, click all notifications. You guys, Larry, I already did this. I've already subscribed. Check it anyway. Because if you didn't get a notification that I'm going live, YouTube might have unsubscribed you. It does that. YouTube just decides on its own, hey, you're a bot. I'm getting rid of you. So go back and fix it. It does matter. You watch Super Chats. You see them come right to the front. Super Chat me or rant me on Rumble. Comes right to the front. You see me pop on them right away, right? So even though it's an AMA, and I try to get everyone I possibly can, because AMA is when I'm open, Super Chats go right to the front. You get them right away. So please do that if you want to. If you want to be cool, like the cool kids, if you want to be part of the cool kid club, you can, but you got to become a member. That's the cool kids. YouTube membership is $49 per month, not $499. I know some of you are wealthy and give me all your money. Don't do that. It's $5. $5, click that join button. $5 a month means a couple things. One, you get to send me stuff. And I have another video I'm doing tomorrow, which will be a reaction. You can send me reaction videos, and I'll do reaction to the videos I can. I get a bunch of them, but I love it. Thank you for this, you guys. And you get to be on the show. I'm actually going to be doing another one coming up here this month, probably about 2 weeks or so. I'll let you know. You can come on the show with me and chat with me on the show. We get a membership show. That's kind of cool, right? So membership has its privileges. Please become a member if you can. On Rumble if you want to. Also, click that subscribe during the Rumble live. You can. And Peace Lodge just gifted a subscription. Peace is the man. Please, if you want to do that over on Rumble, pop over there and become a subscription right now if you want to. That was gifted. Go jump on that too. But no matter what, do what Missy says. Share this thing around. If you can't, all right, then click the like button. That ain't so hard, is it? Why are you being mean? Don't be mean. Click the like button. Don't know why you mean. Yes. Nate says, I was recruit division commander in boot camp from beginning to end. We won all the marching flags. Perfect movements always. That was 2001. Yes. Well, there's a difference, though, in one way. You will find that, and this is kind of odd, naval units versus army units. Naval units are always more on tradition than army units are. Tradition is more important for them. So naval infantry, Marines, then U.S. Navy, built heavily on tradition. The armies aren't as much. Air Force not as much. It's true. Wherever you go, not just America, all across the world. That's how it is. So yeah, it's interesting. All righty. Let's see. How are you? Kim says, also take into consideration, Larry, how old those soldiers were. It's the quality of our young population, sad to say. Maybe, right? Maybe that's true. But then the officers are supposed to pick the people, right? So pick the right units, pick the right everything, right? Yes. I'm not saying you're wrong, Kim, but if I'm the general, if I'm the colonel in charge, whatever, I'm the colonel in charge of this thing, I'm not going to pick those guys. You can put together the unit any way you want. Give me the elite units from here, here, and here, and have them show up. It's fine. Pick the units you want. So I get it, but that's not an excuse for the officers, if that makes any sense. They're supposed to know better. So Kim goes on to say, march to signify unity. True. True. Jazz says, let the Marines set them straight. Yes. Yes. Mike says, this is from command to troops, lack of concern. Mike on the nose. On the nose. This is the commander's fault. You are right. All the commanders, their fault. They should have made this important. They should have made this matter. They didn't. This was embarrassing. They should have. They didn't. So, the relay says, what's your highest rank in the Marines? Staff Sergeant. That's what I showed you. That was my highest. Yep. Yes. So, all righty. Matt, thank you for the $5. I guess I'm confused since Mediterranean diet still has grains and sugars. I thought that led to inflammation and stuff. Is med still beneficial even with carbs? Outside of keto, the best diet in general, the data shows, is the Mediterranean diet. Yes, it does have some carbs. It does. It does have some inflation. It does. But relative to what I call, mostly call SAD, S-A-D, the standard American diet, that is the worst. It is the worst diet. You're begging for diabetes. You are begging for it. And most Americans are on SAD, the standard American diet. So my point, Matt, is of the non-keto diets, I think most people who've done any homework on this would say Mediterranean diet is the best one. Of the people who don't believe in keto, think keto's bad and stupid, going to kill you, they all say Mediterranean diet because they know that outside of keto, it's the best one. So my point being, Matt, if you can go on keto, brother, I would go keto. Clearly, I'm biased. I think keto's magic, but you're asking my opinion. I'm going to give it to you. Go keto. Will that take time? Yes. Will it be difficult? Yes. Is it worth it? Yes. I actually go through how do I know? I think it's true. I've gone through the insurance companies' life projection, like project how long you're going to live, right? How long you're going to live. The average American male lives like 78 or something like that, right? I look at what I'm doing and how my lifestyle is, and I put it in their machine. I did 3 different ones. These are actuaries in insurance companies who care about money. So it's only about the cash. They do not care. The cash is all they care about. Nothing else. They don't care about any ideology. Cash. According to them, I'm going to live till I'm 95. According to them, the average American lives to 78. According to them, I got 17 extra years because of my lifestyle. That's actuaries and insurance companies. So I'm just saying, if I'm living till 95, I mean, maybe I'm not, but they say that. If I'm going to trust anybody, that bad trust those guys because they're about the money only. So they're happy to insure me. They're happy to pay my life insurance. They think I got like 17 years left of paying them. Not 17 more years than the average person does of paying them. So when I got a bunch of years left. I got decades and decades left, according to them. And I put my diet in, all the stuff. I put in all details. So Mediterranean is the second one. That's my point. I hope I'm making sense. Look, you can disagree, but I hope you're at least understanding what I'm saying. So yes, there we go. All righty. Let me keep going down here if I can. All righty. I got so many of these here. Mike says, I could do better now with my bad leg. Yes, Mike, I probably told you if you asked him, Mike had an accident years ago. It was a motorcycle accident, messed his leg up. And he can still do better than these guys. Yes, still do better than these guys. So yes. All right, Lorenzo says, someone had a theory the troops did it as a form of protest. God, I hope that's not true, Lorenzo. I hope that to me sounds like Democratic propaganda. That's what it sounds like to me. It could be true. I mean, but that doesn't sound. That sounds Democratic propaganda. I don't think that's true. Right? Republicans have their propaganda on the shooter. I think that's Democratic propaganda on this. I don't think that to be true. Like, they want to be like, yeah, everybody hates Trump. So the troops all hate Trump. I'm not sure that's true. The troops all hate Trump. Even if they did. All right. If you're what's supposed to, and I hope it happened. If this happened, right? There's supposed to be, you do drills before you get there. You do dress rehearsals before you get there, right? And so you got your drill instructor or your platoon sergeant or your captain or commander, whatever is drilling troops. And if they see this and you're doing a form of protest, you nip that shit right in the bud. And as they're marching out from there's also going to be a staging area, right? And they're coming out and they're diddy bopping around. You stop that shit now, right? Don't be in this. And then they all protested? The officers all protested? I don't know. Look, if that's true, that's embarrassing. I hope you're wrong. That's what I'm going to say. I hope you're wrong. So yeah, terrible. All righty. Matt says, at Ryan Murphy, I thought Larry was sharing videos of the SEMO fair. The fair. I love that. Yes. All righty. James says, yesterday's stream was very informative. I learned about broccoli tacos for the first time. Well, there we go. I like that. All right. Let's see if I can go down here. Daniel says, I cannot give a dime to any of those illegals who do crimes. Yeah, I think we're seeing what's happening now too. I'll touch that piece too since you bring this up. Again, AMA, I'll ask whatever. I'm happy to deal with whatever pops up. I understand. I think almost all Americans, not all, but almost all, it's probably at least 80, 25, 90, 10. The vast majority of Americans want all the migrants who are committing crimes to go. It's rare. I mean, there's some zealots who don't care, but the vast majority, like 90% more are like, dudes are in crime, get the hell out. Now, they would argue whether do your time in jail first or just throw you out first. There's an argument there, and it's a fine argument to have. I mean, I could see either side of that. Who cares? Throw them into a foreign prison. Who cares? Put them in our jail. Who cares? Throw them out. Whatever. But you want them out. That's common, right? No matter where you may be there, you want them out. I get that, and that's fine. Where people start getting worried about is the ones who aren't committing crimes. As a general rule, if you ask the average person, they go, yeah, get them all out. The problem is when you know somebody. Daniel, that's the problem. When I know my nanny, or I know my friend who walks down the street, or my people who work in my local, bodega. I know them and I like them. And they're getting thrown out. I don't like that. And I think some of that's starting to happen where people are seeing people who they like, I want those migrants out. But I don't want my migrants. I like my migrants, right? Some of them, right? You are finding some of that, and some people are getting upset about that, and I understand that, right? The people you care, they're friends, they're part of you're part of your community. You don't want them to leave. I understand. You think, well, they're not bad ones. Why are we getting rid of them? They're the good ones. That's how people think. So I think as we become more aggressive in getting people out, I do think you're finding some people be unhappy about this. Almost no one. Again, there's a small chunk of people who don't want the criminals out, but I mean, they're zealots. You're never going to change them. But the average American is like, yeah, you're a criminal, out. Again, how do you get out? People would fight on that, but they want them out no matter what. This part is starting to be a problem. And the problem here we have is we've made the error. And some of you got mad at me when I said this, but I'm being forward. This isn't the Democrats' fault. This is Biden's fault, or Biden not knowing what he's doing, his people's fault. Remember, Clinton didn't have this problem. Obama didn't have this problem. They didn't just open the borders up like 20 million people in. Biden did, or Biden's administration. Again, did Biden know? Again, he's responsible. Biden's responsible either way, whether he did it or not, he's responsible. But that's the issue. I'll say it again. Obama didn't have this problem. Neither did Clinton. This is not a Democrat problem. This is a Biden problem. Biden did this. And Daniel, now we're paying for it because of Biden. You might go, I don't want to give any money. We have to, because I spend all the money getting them out or put them in jail or whatever. Ain't no way around it. I've always said, you've heard me say it years ago, we're not going to get rid of them all. We can't. We don't have the cash. It takes money, time, bodies to get rid of these 20 million people. Ain't going to happen. It's not a thing. It's not going to happen. Now, I know they're trying to self-deport. That's actually a smarter move. I agree with that conceptually. In practice, that's not happening either. So it's a problem, man. I'm saying it's a problem. And this isn't a Democratic Party's problem. I mean, it is now because of Biden. I'm sorry. I should be clear on that. It is their problem because they allowed it to happen. True. But it's not because of Democratic parties, because of the Biden administration. Right? Tell me this happened to Obama. It didn't. Under Clinton. It didn't. This is a Biden-specific problem. And people who like Biden get mad at me when I say it. It's still true. And people just want to blame Democrats for everything, get mad at me. No. This is the Democratic Party. This is Biden's administration, his fault or his administration's fault specifically. Again, he's responsible, even if he just was with an auto pen, he's still responsible. Even if it wasn't him, he's still responsible. Peace, thank you for the $2. It wasn't too long ago that I was contemplating ending my life. My thoughts were dark. Keto fixed that. It not only fixed it, I'm excited about living. Pandemic, I weighed 220 pounds. Now with Keto, 155, dude, you are nothing. I'm going to pick you up and spin you around. Look at you, 155. You nothing. You little now. You turn sideways, you're invisible. I can't see you. Like, what happened to Dean? He's gone. Man, you little. Okay, I love it. I'm not mad at you. That's what, 60 some odd pounds. Look at you go. You do find that keto does also help your brain. It does. Again, keto is magic. It is. It just is. Yes. Absolutely does. Yes, 100%. So anyway, yeah. He goes on to say, don't like that people conflate the crime of crossing our border illegally and actually real crimes. We need to fix this in Congress. True. And this is, again, this issue is an issue that Congress needs to fix. Peace is correct. People say, well, they're all illegal. They're not all illegal. It's just not true. Our laws do allow for you to apply for asylum. Now, let's be real. The vast majority of people are not asylum seekers. That's a story that Eric Adams came up with, right? That's Democratic propaganda. That's not true. But some are. Now, is that 5%, 1%, 10%? I don't know. Because they're all saying it. So I don't know which ones are actually looking for that. I have no idea. Sake of argument, we'll say 10%. Again, I'm making that number up totally. I have no idea what the number is. So sake of argument, 10%. Okay, so 10% really have serious, asylum-seeking issues and should go through courts and the whole thing. Great. Well, 90%. What about them? Right? So now we don't know. They all say it. So now we have to go through a system to figure out which one because our laws say that. There shouldn't be asylum seeking. That's dumb. That's back from Cold War days. That's stupid. It should just be, do you have a place to work here? You do? Awesome. They're responsible. Orange card, go work. You don't? Why are you here? Done. I don't care if you're seeking asylum. I don't care if you got family. I don't care. What do I care? You got a place to work? You do? Where? That guy? He gonna vouch for you? His paperwork done? Have a nice day. Orange card, go. Done. Move on. That's how it should be. I have no place to work. I'm just sad. Be sad over there then. Be sad in your country. I don't care. It's that simple. We're not doing any of that though. So yes. All righty. Let me keep going down here if I can. Michael says they sabotage the parade. I don't want to believe that, Michael. That's what I'll say. I don't want to believe that. Yes. There we go. That's it. So, all righty. Let's see if I can go here. Orthodox Moore says, bring on Nico. I like Nico House. You two have good on-air character. Yeah, I've been on the show before. He's been on my show before. I like him. I may bring him on. He had a tough event recently. He was a victim of a crime recently. I don't want to do details. He'll tell you if you go on his show. He was a victim of a crime recently. It did affect his family. So he's in a bad spot right now. So maybe later. I'll reach out maybe later and see if he'll come on. I like Nico House. Nico House actually lives in Brazil. He doesn't actually live in America, lives in Brazil. So yes. He is what's what I say him? He is a rebellious, maybe, like former Democrat leftist, maybe is a good way of maybe something like that. Maybe that's a good way of doing it, perhaps. So yeah. All righty. Matt says, just don't think about having Dan guest host. We could. I mean, he'd be exciting. That's something. Maybe we'll do it. It's something. Yeah, we could try it, I guess. I'll just see if I can. I don't know. Well, that's a gamble. That's a gamble. And I like Dan. I just don't know him as well. Like, I know Mike very well. Mike knows my show very well. Like, he knows me well. Mike knows the team well, right? So it was easy to bring Mike on. That was an easy thing for me to do. And you guys know him and stuff. And so it's fine. Everyone says, keto KFC. Okay, KFC is not keto. I want to be very clear. But it is the least carby of the popular fried chicken franchises. That's all that I've been saying. So if you're going to have a bunch of KFC, unless you're pulling the skin off, in which case, why have KFC, right? Why even do it? Just get some chicken, right? If you like KFC, and I like the taste of KFC, I do. I like it. So if I'm going to have it, I'll have some of that. If I don't go too high, I don't go over my carbs for the day. So it's the least one. I can have more KFC than I can have Popeyes. Popeyes, I like Popeyes chicken too, but it's far more carby. So I can have less of it. And I also actually like KFC better. So when I have chicken, and I do sometimes, it's almost always KFC when I have it. That's all. Ryan says KFC and Budweiser. Yeah, the Budweiser part's the problem, Ryan. That's the problem. So yeah, that's the problem. Anyway. Matt says, then I could never do full keto, then love drinking milk. All I'm gonna say, Matt, is I love drinking soda. I stopped. It can be done. It can be done. So yeah, that's all I'm saying. It can be done. All righty. Let's see here if I can. Pop more of these if I can. Ganshin says, I can imagine Vladimir Putin watching our parade and laughing at us. I know that a bunch of people watched that and thought, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I did. Absolutely. Mike, so you should show the silent drill team tossing rifles for a few seconds. Maybe I will, but I don't want them to cry, Mike. See, I don't want them all to cry. Let's see if I can get a little bit of that. I'll see if I can pop something here real fast. But there is just the Marine Corps drill team is just, they're like the best in the world. And I don't want to hold on. They're like the best in the world. If you watch them do it, it's just insane. The way they do everything, it's crazy. All right, let me see if I can do a little bit of this here. This is 2024. I just randomly grabbed this one. See if I can find this one here. I hope it's a good one. This is the US. This is a practice. I just happened to grab it. It is a practice. So just so you'll see, it is a practice, but it's still pretty impressive on how they do it. Remember, I told you they always have practices. They have that that staging area. This is Marines doing that. Pop this out. You'll see them. Look at that precision. Come on now. Come on now. That's what it should have been, right? That's what it should have been. That's what it should have been. And it was not. So, yes. All righty. All right. Let's hear. Wow, meow. Oh, he's mad. I don't see none of y'all MF sponsor any of those illegals. Who said we should? Oh, you just coming in trying to yell at people and stuff. Dude, I'm happy you're here. Stay if you like. I don't know why you're thinking that we're like all of a sudden sponsoring illegals, whatever. First off, in New York City, a whole lot of people give them a bunch of place to stay, and they do actually invite them into their house here in New York City. Why do we do that? Because there's actually a migrant industrial complex, and they're paying them to stay here, which is the sad part. This is a bad part. It's why a bunch of homeless people don't get to be into places because they'd rather take federal money to keep the migrants in. That's what actually happens. So I don't know what wow, meow, you're just making stuff up. It's fine. I hope you're here. I'm glad you found us, but you're preaching to someone who is you're yelling into nothing. Into nothing. I attack Asian. No, you don't. Stop. Attack Asian. Stop. You're just saying stuff, man. You keep saying, but there's really nothing there that, yeah. All righty. Let me keep going. Let's see here. Grab some of these if I can. I will grab a couple of these. Oh, well, just yelling and stuff. Okay, whatever. Nate says, immigration is an economic issue. Only limitations ought to be the organic price of housing and jobs. Stop public subsidies in the form of welfare for immigrants and CIA contracts for else. True. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Yes. So, all righty. Guao says, of course, it's a keto. So, all right. Let me square you away real fast. You don't eat soy on keto. soy has carbs. So just so you understand, soy has carbs. Are you on keto, Guao? You're not. So who's the soy boy? I survive on two things, protein and caffeine. What do you survive on? What do you survive on? I will tell you. Nothing. You eat the standard American diet. I know you do because I can see. This makes you excited, which is good. I'm glad you're excited. Someone's giving you attention. I'll give you attention. Look, you're here. I'm giving you attention. Enjoy the attention. You recognize that you are small and you want to be bigger. So you say, I'm going to go yell at Larry Sharpe, who's far superior to me, which is true. I am. And you decide that you'll do that. Okay, I'm giving you attention now. Do you feel big now? Do you feel strong and powerful? I hope you do. That was my intention. Feel good. Enjoy. Eat your soy. Life is good. Kim says, I think Biden's taking the blame for the Dem-elites or whoever owns them. I have to ask who is pushing the order pen. This is why I say this, Kim. I'm not sure it's actually Biden's fault. It's his responsibility either way, right? Because he was in charge. So he's responsible no matter what. But I'm with you. I'm not sure he actually did it, if that makes sense. I think other people might have. So, yeah. So, again, his responsibility no matter what. No matter his responsibility. But I don't know if he actually did it. That I'm not sure of. So, yeah. All righty. Let me see if I can do this again. All righty. Superman says, I'm firmly convinced the Democrats working with the GOP behind the scenes purposely caused the immigrant crisis so the GOP could implement. I'm not necessarily, I think you may be right. I'm not sure if it's for the end, but yeah. Here, look, we got to be clear. You can be angry that the 20 million people are here or not. I get it completely. I get it. I mean, we had no plan for them at all. We didn't as people, we didn't. But why'd they come here? I told you this already. Big business wanted them. The average American doesn't want 20 million migrants coming into the country, not being able to understand things. Of course not. Average American doesn't want that. But did big business? Yes. Of course it did. That's the labor force. Big pharma. Big farming, big agriculture wants them. Absolutely. Business wants them in general, right? For that. And oh my God, hospitality wants them. I was just in a hotel 4 days. Everybody working as a migrant. Everybody working. From the front desk to the people in the back room, they're all migrants. Every one of them. Yes, they want them. So big business, to your point, takes care of both the GOP and Democratic elites, writes them checks, helps them out, and gets all these people in here. Yes. And now with AI, dumping all the white collar jobs, now the white collar jobs going away. Well, these people are going to do the blue collar jobs? They're not gonna. Who's gonna? It's the migrants. They're going to throw us all on UBI, right? That's their goal. Throw us all on UBI, and the migrants take all the other jobs that we don't want to do. So yeah, yes, that's the issue. That is the issue. Absolutely. So I'm with you. Roland says, troops love Trump. We've already filed field recruitment. Yeah, it's a good point. I don't think the troops are against Trump at all. I think you're right, Roland. I think the troops are not anti-Trump. Now, could some of the officers be? Yes, that's possible, right? The officers could be, but I think you're right. Most troops, I think, do like it. I agree. Yes. Mr. Matt's okay says, welcome back, Larry. Mike did a great job filling in while you were gone. Oh, I had a feeling he would. So yes, I had a feeling he would. Yeah. All righty. Let's see here. Patty says, the other day, we, your viewing audience, came up with a name for us. The League of Extraordinary Sharpies. Oh, the League of Extraordinary Sharpies. I like that. The less is more. I like that. There we go. All righty. I'll grab some more of these. Daniel says, I voted for the Unity Party and got the Unity Party. Nicely done. Oh, nicely done. I like that. That is good. Nicely done. That is good. Yeah. All right. Shelly says, my soon-to-be 93-year-old uncle eats whatever he wants and is full body muscle. He runs 7 times a day and rides bikes when he has someone to ride with. Land surveyor, always on his feet. There's a second piece to add, right? I got it. A lot of health is diet, absolutely. But another part of health is exercise. No doubt, Shelly, you're correct. And you look at the example I'll give you is you look at people who are like Olympic medalists, Olympic athletes. They don't eat great. but they're so active. They're Olympic level athletes. Doesn't matter. So being active and exercising fixes a whole lot of problems. Mental issues, gastrointestinal issues, physical issues. Yes, having more muscle than fat, having a low fat. There is a level of too low. There is a level too low. Particularly as a woman, is a level too low. There is. But unless you're a bodybuilder, that's not a problem for you, right? Some people who are bodybuilders, they have to worry about getting too low in fat. But unless you're that, you're good, right? That's the only people who have to worry about that. So yeah, you're totally correct. If you are active, that is everything. I agree. Yes, it's a big thing. If you can, it's a great thing. So yeah. All righty. Phil says Larry was great on a Saturday morning for the fest show. Oh, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yes, I was doing. I was doing that. I was doing their little show there, so it was kind of cool. So, all righty. Mahima says on keto, can you eat chicken or fish? Any of them? Yeah, any protein. Yes, absolutely. So, everybody says you said once how you remember so many facts. You can explain that. Can you explain that again? You said before that in your brain you can just grab info without forgetting anything. That's not necessarily true. There are two things that I talk about when it comes to me remembering things. One of them is I have a thing called synesthesia. Some of you know what that is. It is when your brain sees things and experiences things in 2 or 3 modes at the same time. For example, there are people who can not me. Some people can taste colors. So they can see and taste. When they see a color, they can taste it. There was a piece in a book, Robert Silverberg wrote a book about this in the 70s on how they were trying to get people, they were in his sci-fi book, they're genetically engineering people to use multiple senses without sight, because sight was actually fooling people. So they were genetic people with no eyes, but they use all the other senses to see. That was what he talked about, and concept of synesthesia. In my head, I can see time as steps. It's kind of weird. I know my daughter has synesthesia also. I guess it's genetic. My daughter also has it. One of my daughters has, one doesn't. So I can see signs. I can see dates in the form of steps. So I remember dates very easily. So I can this is like the 1690s, whatever. I can see that. So often you see, I go, that happened at this time, happened at that time, at this time. It's simple for me to see in the form of steps. Some people don't see that. Some have to memorize a date. I don't. I see a series of steps. Even days, months, seasons, I also put into a series of steps. I don't know why. It's just in my head. That's how I remember dates so well. And you see me often know, oh no, that was this date, because of that. So yes. So that's how I can remember dates. Other facts, having people who have higher IQs tend to remember things better, tend to. And if you have good brain health, keto helps also, allows you to remember things better. There's a difference between intelligence and wisdom. Someone who's intelligent knows when it's going to rain. Someone who's wise remembers to bring the umbrella. So there's a difference. So wisdom has more value than intelligence, but I hope that made sense. Yes. Daniel says, my dad has been mostly carnivore for 2 years. He's the healthiest he's been in a while. Yeah, carnivore is another great diet. I'm not carnivore, but some people are. Again, you want to look at your own body. Some people can take carnivore like that and love it. Some can't. There was a guy, Dr. D'Adamo, who wrote a book on the blood type diet. And he believes, some people don't believe it, but there's another type of diet who believe that your blood type matters because your blood is used to digest. So that blood type diet is critical. And he says, again, I don't know if it's true. He says that if you want to go carnivore, you should be O blood type. That O blood type is the best for carnivore. That's what he says. Is it true? I don't know. So it could be that, because some people do not do well on carnivore. They don't. They need to have a little bit of carbs, or they need to have vegetables, or they need to have a little bit of fruit. They have to have something. Depends upon the person. But some people are there on carnivore and they are loving life, and it's good. So again, I think you should try the ones that you think are going to work. But yeah. Roland says, I used to use olive oil, but I love the taste of real butter, so I mix them. I think they're both good. I use both. I'm with you. Yes. Roland goes on to say, peppers also have some great benefits and are easy to grow. True. Yes. Amy says, what other veggies do you eat besides sauerkraut and salad stuff? That's it. I'm not a foodie. If you're a foodie, this becomes more challenging for you. But if you're a foodie, literally Google, keto snacks, Keto cakes. There's so many keto things you can do that are keto. My daughter is also on keto, and she is a keto baker. Like, she makes cookies keto. She makes cakes keto. She makes pies keto. So you can have lots of stuff. It just takes more time to make. That's all. If you've got some time, Mahima, and you like cooking or baking or whatever you like, you can make stuff that is keto in a heartbeat. You can do it. It's everywhere. I mean, literally, a simple Google search will show tons and tons of keto snacks, keto everything. So yeah, absolutely good idea. So, all righty. I want to grab some more of these. You guys give me so much. I appreciate it. So let me try to get as many as I can. All right. Grab some of these if I can. I went down a bunch. All right. I went down that one already. Okay, I did with that one. Good. All right. So Warpin says, pushing the gas and the smoke on both extremes because deportation is difficult at scale and the only heavy-handed enforcement is possible, but at the loss of due process. Yeah, that is an issue, right? It is physically impossible to get everyone out. So you've got to find an answer, right? And this is an answer that was thrown upon us. I'm not mad at Americans. I know some people are. I'm not, for wanting to, get rid of all the migrants. I'm not mad at them for it. I understand it, right? You can't take in realistically and be satisfied 20 million migrants and have no plan. I mean, this is going to happen. And it did. It wasn't supposed to happen, and it did. So I get it. So what happens? I'm a politician. I want to, jump on one side. What do? I do one or the other. I either go, oh no, anyone who attacks migrants is a bigot or whatever. I do that. Or I do get rid of them all, throw them all out. I do one of those too. Neither one's real. Neither one's real. You've got to find something in the middle. And I think for most Americans, if you start with criminals, everyone goes, okay, and then move to the next step. So yes. So, all righty. Mike says, latest estimates on number of illegals in the U.S. is now 50 to 80. Is that right? Seems insane. If we could cut the number of illegals to 10 to 20, there would be little problem or concern. Yeah, I think if we even put a dent in it and people felt like it was going smoothly, I think most Americans would be okay with it. That's what I think. So, yeah. Ryan said, people like Biden? Yes, lots do. You still see it. People do like Biden still. They do. I mean, I don't know why, but they do. Kevin asks, will you be voting in New York City mayoral, public advocate, city council? I'm not a Democrat, so no. Yeah, we don't have open primaries. You have to be a Democrat. So I have no say over my government. None. Yeah, that's it. Yes, I don't have any say. Absolutely. All righty here. Patty says, do you think Desi Arnaz, Ricky Ricardo would have been thrown out in today's climate? I asked Mike this question and want to hear your thoughts. No, I don't. For two reasons. One, he's Cuban. Those are the good Hispanics. So yes, so he's Cuban, so no, off the bat. But second piece is he's wealthy. Also the good Hispanics. So no, he'd be safe, totally fine. He'd somehow get his way out. He would just buy citizenship. You got the $5 million thing now, the golden ticket. Write the check for $5 million, done and done. So no, he's fine. He has no problems whatsoever. He's Cuban and has money. He's fine. He's fine. So, all righty. Grab some more of these if I can. All right. Joel said the original parade planners thought they'd be marching for Kamala. That's a good one. That's good. I like that. Yes. All righty. Make it make sense. I'm curious about your opinion about what you think from a libertarian perspective. When is war justified? Oh yeah. War is absolutely justified when attacked. Defense. Of course. Of course it is. Absolutely. If someone attacks you, libertarians aren't against violence by default. We are against initiating violence. That's it. Someone attacks you, do as you see fit, right? Someone takes your property, do as you see fit. Someone threatens your property, do as you see fit, but you don't initiate violence. That's what it's about. Libertarians, if you follow libertarian guidelines, not everyone does, but if you do, you are against the initiation of force. But if you're coming at me, you might get some force. If you're not coming at me, I have no right to initiate force. None. That is when war is justified. So the Chinese are about to invade. I mean, they're not. But if they were, yeah, makes total sense, right? The Russians about to invade. Makes sense. They're going to bomb us, whatever. Makes sense. Absolutely. So that's when it's justified. In self-defense, when we are being attacked. That's when it is. Matt, member for thank you. Thank you for your membership. Membership doesn't matter. Thank you so much. General time it takes to enter ketosis. Maybe I could try to see if I could sustain it. Didn't take weeks, I suppose. Okay. Generally speaking, the easiest way to see if you're in ketosis is to use these strips, the urine strips. Easiest way. You can just literally do it on the strip or put it in a cup and then dip the stick in. And the darker it is, the more in ketosis you are. You want to be in a deep purple. That's the home run, deep purple. But even if you're in a light purple, you're still in ketosis. Deep purple is the best. Do it, I don't know, 3 times a day, twice a day, whatever you want, morning, night, something like that, and see. Generally speaking, you can get in ketosis anywhere between 24 and 72 hours. Usually, the more you're in ketosis, the faster you get back into it. Your body gets accustomed to it, right? I'm in ketosis in 24 hours. I'm back in. Some people may take 3 days, but no more than a week. The problem is something else, a thing called keto flu. It's not a flu, but it's called the keto flu. It's basically withdrawal symptoms from not having carbs. It affects people differently. Some people, they have stomach problems. Some people can't sleep. Some people get headaches, but it's basically withdrawal symptoms. Now, again, I've been doing this 15 years. I can come on, come off. I don't get keto flu. Some people do. You might get keto flu. Here's what I would ask you to do. Push through. Generally speaking, keto flu will not last more than a week. That's about how long it lasts. Some people will last longer, but most of the time, keto flu is over in less than a week. So start getting into ketosis. Use it within 2 or 3 days. You're in ketosis. Use those strips to keep it. Once you're in ketosis, except you may be in keto flu for up to a week. After that, you'll be fine. That's what I would do. Now, a way of getting ketosis faster. To get into ketosis, you've got to burn out all the stuff that's already in your liver. You've got a bunch of like carbs sitting in your liver right now in other areas. You got to get rid of it all. How do you do that? Exercise helps tremendously. So if you can fast, even better. Now, if you can, maybe you can't fast. If you can fast and exercise, the home run. And my team knows I often do that. I will fast for 2 days and work out. And I'll pop myself right in hardcore ketosis, right? You can do that easily. And I also put myself into autophagy. So you can put myself in autophagy and ketosis. Now I'm rock and rolling. Autophagy, they believe, I'm not a doctor, YouTube. I'm saying what people believe, YouTube. I'm not a doctor, YouTube. I'm not a doctor, YouTube. I'm saying what people believe. People say autophagy, as it eats, the body eats itself, it can also eat cancer cells. That's why fasting and keto works so well for cancer. Because what feeds cancer cells? Glucose. You're not making much of it at all. You're feeding your body on ketones and not on glucose. So that's how that works. Hope that was helpful. All righty. Larry, have you heard the Atlantic diet? I haven't. Is that a good diet? I don't know. Are you teasing me? I have no idea. Yeah, I don't really know. Then says, I could watch it all day, better than synchronized swimming. It is good, isn't it? It is good. Yes, absolutely. So, all righty. See if I can go down here. Ryan says, hear that pop on the rifles from the Marine Corps Silent Drill Team? This is precision. It's in detail, and discipline is unreal. Yes, that's the issue. Yes. Kim says, I remember that USMC march when Goma Pyle came on. I remember it's pretty good marching. Yes. And the Marines, you still keep out marching. It matters. Right? Marching does matter. So, yeah. All righty. Terry says, who gives a rat's ass about pleasing the Trump turd? To be forward, Terry, you don't have to. But if you're an officer in the military, you do. I'm not trying to be mean, right? If you're an officer in the military, he's your commander in chief. You do have to care about that. Or to my point, resign. But you, if you're a regular person, you don't have to care about pleasing him. You have no obligation to please him whatsoever. Except if you are an officer in the US military, then you do. Literally, you serve at the pleasure of the president. That's the actual term. I serve at the pleasure of the president. That's the actual term. So this is the only issue. You say, who gives a rat's ass? Commissioned officers in the U.S. military need to, or don't be one. Just want to be clear on that. And these are the guys who set this up. They should have done it right. That's all I'm saying. So Daniel gifts a Sharpe membership. Thank you, my friend. Daniel gifting a Sharpe membership, my friend. I appreciate it. Yes, every membership does matter. I appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. All righty. Let's see here if I keep going here. Matt says, I like how Larry says, let me see if I can keep this going here. I don't care what your governor says, Larry. I know you can work that computer. I'm trying to. The problem is, as Kathy Okola said, black people from the Bronx don't know what a computer is. Right? So I have my white friends teach me a little bit, and I'm getting better. I'm getting better. I am getting better. Mike did good too. Mike's also a black guy from the Bronx, just like me. So neither one of us knew what a computer was. So yeah, there we go. Monk says, Larry, do you think most of the people who attended the No Kings protest aren't actually anti-authoritarianism? They're just mad their party isn't in the White House. I think it's a combo, right? Here's what I think most people who went there believe. Something's wrong. I'm unhappy. I want things to change. I don't feel like I'm doing something. This is something that I can do so I can feel like I'm doing something. I think most people thought that. Now, are there other aspects of that? Yes. There are some who are like, wait a minute. Trump is being like the authoritarian guy. And the problem with Trump is, even though Democrats are also authoritarianism, of course they are, Trump wears it on his sleeve. And when you wear it on your sleeve, it makes people angry. Like, people want to believe you're not authoritarian when you are. They want to believe that you're not. And again, as I tell you, Democratic rhetoric, I know some of you don't like when I say it, but in the past, Democratic rhetoric has been really good rhetoric. I mean, they govern like garbage, but the rhetoric, the talk has been very good. It's, oh, we all love and freedom, and everyone gets a rainbow, and there's going to be puppies, right? It's all great talk. Republican talk is not that good. It just isn't. There's no tradition of it, right? With a couple exceptions, and one exception is Reagan. Reagan's rhetoric, amazing rhetoric. Again, whether you like Reagan or not, his rhetoric was, and way better than Carter's. Carter's rhetoric was garbage, right? Reagan's rhetoric was amazing. He made you feel like, oh my God, America's going to be awesome tomorrow. I can't believe it. Trump's is aggressive and feels like he's a bad guy and he's mean and nasty. It doesn't feel good sometimes. Now, if you want to move forward, it can give you some hope, but it doesn't feel good. So people don't like it. So I think that's one of the reasons. But yeah, there are some who just mad that party isn't in the White House. I agree. Some aren't, and some are against us, and some don't like the immigration policies, right? Look, I don't like it. Some people don't like the immigration policies. I'm not prepared to do this stuff because I'm not that mad at it. It's not number one for me. It's not even close. It's not even close to number one for me. It's just not important for me. But yeah, for some people it is. So I think it's a combo. So yeah. All righty. Let me keep going down here. JP says prayer was embarrassing. True. Yes. Yep. True. Absolutely. All righty. I'm grab a couple more of these. Monk says, I believe most people who attended the protested superficially. I think they want to be part of something. So if you count that as superficial, okay, if you do. But I think, here's what I keep telling people, and here's where I think this counts. People want change. They don't like what's happening in the country. And you blame the guy who's in front now. So now it's Trump's fault, right? Whatever. It used to be Biden's fault. Now it's Trump's fault. You just blame the guy who's in front of you, right? Whatever the case may be. So we're going to protest the stuff. Yeah, let's go. This is what BLM was. I don't mean to be mean for you guys to support BLM, but that's what that was too. It was, this sucks. What's BLM doing? We're protesting stuff. Yes, go. And boom, they were out there all over the place. So I think a lot of that was a similar piece. I agree with you on that part, but I guess what I'm concerned about is defining superficially, meaning they aren't unhappy or they aren't happy with the issue. If your superficial means the issue, I would agree with you. If you're saying they're not really unhappy, I disagree. I think they are unhappy. Is my nuance clear, Monk? I hope it's clear and where my head is. So yeah. All righty. Garrett gives me a Sharpe Boy membership. Thank you guys. Please grab. Remember our rules on this. Remember our rules. If you make I had new rules. $20 million. Yeah. If you made $20 million as a consultant, you may not take a Sharpe Boy membership. If you did not make $20 million as a consultant, you may take one. So just remember that. It's okay. Did you make $20 million? Then don't take this. Pay the $49. Don't be cheap. You made $20 million. But if you did make $20 million, you may take a membership. So there we go. Good. Let me keep going down here if I can. Some more of these. Gene says, prior to 2020, my husband and I went dancing 3 or 4 times every week. Wow. He proposed to me on the dance floor at the ballroom dance. That is so sweet. Gene, we also did swing dancing and Argentine tango. The events of 2020 devastated us in many ways. Yeah, I'm not prepared to forgive so easily for the lockdowns. I'm not. It wrecked so many people. Yes, absolutely. So, all righty. See if I can grab this here. Wow. Oh, you stop with the okay. Then explain why. Then explain. He yells at me. You're still yelling, but okay, something. Not at least not all caps. Why all Democrats are against Israel? Not all Democrats are. That's not true. You made that up. That's not true. But many are, and they're not against Israel necessarily. I mean, some are. Don't get me wrong. Some are. They're against the war in Gaza, which I understand that. But that's why I don't know what you mean by that. It's clear that they're very open. You're right. Many Democrats are. That's true, many. But you're saying all because you're just being an ideologue, which is fine. You can be an ideologue, but not all do. I live in New York City. Lots of Jewish population here in New York City. I know many Jewish Democrats, Jewish libertarians, Jewish Republicans who are not against Israel. I know many of them. Mike lives in New York City too. I'm sure he knows many Jewish Democrats who are not anti-Israel. Some are. And some Jewish Democrats are anti-Israel. That's absolutely true. There's actually an Orthodox sect that's anti-Israel. That exists. So you will find them, but it's not all. And most of them are anti-Israel, those who are, because they want they want to defend the Palestinian state. They care about that. That's what they care about. Again, you're asking me to explain why they feel that way. Here's the most important piece to do for you to understand. Wow, if you care. I don't, maybe you don't care, but if you do care. When I say things that are true, it doesn't mean I believe them. Meaning it doesn't mean I believe in them. It doesn't mean I think they're even right. But I still say what's true. Right? I know some people get mad. How dare you say that? How you support? I'm not supporting it. If I tell you, right, that we're going to go, I don't know, bomb Taiwan or something, I'm not supporting it, but we might bomb Taiwan, right? Whatever. I'm going to tell you what we might do, regardless of whether I agree with it or not, right? I don't think at all we should engage in a war with Iran. I don't think so, but we might. And I would still say it. And I would tell you what's happening, whether I believe it or not, doesn't matter, right? But too many people who are on the left and right, they're so much in their own worlds that if you even say anything that isn't part of the line, you're evil. I had this when I was like, why are we fighting Ukraine? I would ask that question. Why are we putting money into Ukraine? Immediately, Putin puppet, Putin puppet. I didn't say I like Putin. I'm asking the question. And also I'm Putin puppet. Or I'd say, why are we helping them bomb Gaza? And, oh, you hate Israel. I didn't say I hate Israel. I didn't say any of that. But if you even say anything close to it, you're the opposite. You're either with us or against us. This is why we are failing as a nation, by the way. That's the reason. So you won't talk. But if you hear, wow, you'll know. We talk here. You can be for Israel, against Israel. You can be for Gaza, against Gazans. Whatever. You can still talk here. I don't throw you out for that. You can keep talking. It's fine. And I'm trying to let you know what's true to the best of my ability and what's not true to the best of my ability. Either way, even if I want to disagree. So, yeah. Anyway, hope that was clear for you in any case. Let me go down here. Jane says, wanted to pass at my church from Nicaragua. And if he's undocumented and they take him away, people are going to be unhappy. I get it. They're going to be unhappy. Absolutely. They're going to be unhappy. Yes. All right. Timothy says, idiots, all of you. The parade was awesome. Should have America and American pride is back. The left is done. Not true at all, my friend. That parade was garbage. And I showed you the examples of good parades. Did you watch? I hope you watched. I showed you examples. We should have done that. Our parade was embarrassing. You should be. If you're an America First, America Pride, you should be as mad as I am. Don't pretend. That was garbage. That was shit. That was an embarrassment. If you're really America Pride back, I hope you are. I am. I hope you are. Well, I want America to show it. I literally have an American flag right here. I sport a USMC tat right here. Don't tell me I don't care about America. America Pride. Don't talk me that shit. That was an embarrassment. You want to be proud about America? You got to show up. You got to earn that shit. You don't just get it because you got a flag. You got to earn that shit. We did not earn it. That was not earned. You're fooling yourself, my friend. I'm glad you're here. Please stay. Saying you're fooling yourself. So yes. Yep. Everybody says, the poop that came out of me when I started carnivore. Yeah. Matt says, I deliver Amazon 4 days a week. I think I got the exercise part covered. You good, brother? Look, you're already good. Yeah, you're already good. Adam, how are you, my friend? By the way, what you were describing to your listeners about how you remember stuff is a form of visualization, very common in neurodivergent. Yes, I do this also. For example, when I count, I literally see numbers in my head. My daughter actually has assigned colors to all numbers and letters. So yeah. And I go into detail of what those numbers look like, even colors and textures. Yeah, my daughter has that. Yet, to a lot of neurotypical people, this practice seems quite odd. It's a way neurodivergent people visualize, memory, recall. Most neurotypicals just recall information with no need to, I don't know, watch it. Yeah, but exactly right. Yes, my daughter has that. But I don't have the number thing like you do. My daughter does. She does that number color thing. And I tested her when she was little. When she was real little, she was saying it. And her mom was like, is this real? She isn't real. But I said, no, it might be. So I started asking her what the numbers were, each one. And then I waited a little bit, come back and ask again. She remembered all of them. So if she was just making stuff up, she wouldn't be able to remember. She was like 4, 5. She was little. She remembered all of them. Then I would tell her which one was which, and I would guess which one was next, and she would know. Like it was all in order. So that's why I knew it was real. And I knew I had it. So I figured she might have it. So yep, absolutely. That's how that works. So Michael, Timothy, yeah, I'm more MAGA than most. True. And the marching of the army was crap. That would have never been allowed in my platoons. Correct. Absolutely correct. Yes, absolutely. 100%. All righty. Literally says, we were teasing Mike about him not being able to stream to Rumble, but Hokel says Mike's not supposed to know that. That's true. What do you expect? How's Mike supposed to know? They can't know that. It's not fair. Peace over on Rumble says, recently I heard that maybe Israel doesn't have enough missiles compared to what Iran has stockpiled. And this could turn into a complete disaster. How in trouble is Israel? I don't think Israel's in much trouble at all before with you. I don't. And I say that because America is going back Israel. Just America's going back Israel. Again, you may not like that. You may think that's a terrible idea. Maybe you're one of Gao's Democrats who hates Israel. Maybe you don't like that. It doesn't matter. Still true. America's going to back Israel. So could it be challenging for us? Yes, because we're going to have to give them the missiles then, because we're not letting Israel go under. The hardest part would be is if somehow here is the only problem that Israel could possibly have. Possibly. This is a maybe, but it's not a high chance. If somehow in 2028, someone like a Mamdani becomes president. I don't know how that happens, but that would be the only time. If someone like him becomes president, he would abandon Israel immediately. And if somehow he would not have an accident, so he would have to win the election and not have an accident. If that were to happen, Israel will be in real trouble. And here's a reason why Israel will be in trouble. Turkey. Why? Iran's in trouble, and it knows it is. So Iran has been trying to make deals with Turkey. And it's been working. They've been working together in some African nations, Sudan, and I think 2 or 3 other nations. Chad, maybe? I forgot. A couple other nations, they've been working together. Iran is trying to make Turkey its ally. And they're probably going to surrender. The sad part for us is that means they're going to give up 100%. They're going to give up the Kurds. The Kurds are going to be crushed. Because if both Iran and Turkey want to get rid of the Kurds, there's going to be a genocide against Kurds. That would be horrible. Because now Syria is out of action. Syria can't, Iraq can't, Iran and Turkey do whatever they want with the Kurds. And they will literally, they will cleanse that area. If that happens, and again, those things would have to happen. That's number one. And we'd have to have a Mamdani type win the presidency and him not have an accident. If all 3 of those converged, I don't know what the hell the odds of that happening are, but to answer your question, if all 3 of those converged, Israel would be in real trouble. Like maybe could not exist. That'd be the only way. If all of that came together, maybe. Because if all that happened, then the other local areas might go, well, why should I ally with them? I don't want to go over all these countries. So maybe that. Otherwise, Israel's going to be fine. So hope that makes sense. All righty. Grab a couple more of these. Let me grab this if I could. Susan says, I went to the protest as it would piss Donnie off. He did not get his big crowds. I am a guardian for my sister and do not want Medicaid cuts. I cannot care for her. She's assisted living. Look, I see. Thank you, Susan. To my point, to the point I was bringing up, I'm not sure everyone was necessarily mad at, immigration as an example, but are they mad at Trump? Yeah. Are they mad at the system? Yeah. Right. People don't want the Medicaid cuts. They don't want the big, beautiful bill. They don't want it. People don't want it. And they want change. So, yeah. So I do think, again, if you're saying they're going there fake because they don't believe in the anti-immigration thing, maybe, right? Maybe. But no, I think people are upset. Susan has a different reason for going. I do think most people are upset. I do. So, yes. All righty. Nate says that indivisible movement is nationwide. Around here, they are in indivisible Mohawk Valley. They started in 2016 to protest Trump. I think it's Charlie India Alpha Front with the goal of divide and conquer. I keep seeing that. Yeah. Ganjan says, Susan Richardson, understandable. Agreed. I understand that. I get that. Understand it. Yes. Mike says that, Susan, if your sister's a citizen and not committing fraud, there's nothing to fear. Yeah, that sounds good, Mike, but that's failed a lot of times. I know you trust your boy. I don't. You trust your boy. I don't. So many times, don't worry. And then, boy, you got to worry. So I'm not as trusting as you are. Yes, that's what I'll say. I'm not as trusting. Yes. So Daniel says, crap talk Larry all day long. Fine, crap talk the chat. Gone. Whatever. You know me, I don't mind. I'll put the people up. I don't care. What are you gonna do? Whoever thinks they're going to yell at me, how many times have been yelled at in person, called horrible names more than once? They always think, this will teach Larry a lesson. Oh, well, it's fine. Oh, well. Yeah, that's it. Matt says, all these people with superpowers, and I'm just out here with ADHD. I'm not saying it's superpowers, but yeah. Well, the funny part is, I didn't know that everyone, when I was a kid, I didn't know everyone else had it. I assumed it was normal. I couldn't get in history, for example, why people couldn't get the dates. I couldn't get it because doesn't everyone see it the same way I do? It took me some time I didn't know what synesthesia was until I was an adult. Like I knew I was different when I was a kid after a while when not everyone could do the dates like I could. So I knew I was different. But I didn't know what it was until I was an adult. And then when I had my kids, I was like, okay, either one has it and one does. So it's genetic. So one of my parents had it. I don't know which one. I have no idea. So, all righty. Peace says, headline, thank you for $1. Minnesota lawmaker Melissa Hortman killed, State Senator John Hoffman wounded and targeted political. Yeah. And is that what's happening? As I said earlier, you might have missed that part, Piece. I think it's just an individual who thinks the right answer is violence. I do not think this is some kind of conspiracy theory or something like that. I don't think that's true. And you never know. It could be, of course, but I don't think it's true. I think it's just an individual who thought this is the right answer. So, yeah, that's all. All righty. Let's see if I can go down some more of these. Adam says, even though I'm only part Jewish, I never understood why fellow Jews not only vote, but are registered Democrats, especially in New York. As a Jew, foreign policy to me is probably the most important aspect of a party's policy platform. I don't understand why any Jew can support the radical left, the Democratic Party, and by registering as a Democrat, you are enabling these voices. This is largely why I became libertarian, which Republicans are just as bad. I don't think it's that simple for many Jewish people, right? Look, I know a lot of Jews in New York City, and Jews are not a monolith, man. I mean, you're half Jewish, you probably know they're not monolith. There are Jews who are, very observant, really care about being Jewish. They really care, keep kosher, all this stuff. And there are some Jews who are like, I'm just born Jewish. I don't care about nothing. It depends, right? Upon where they are. They're not a monolith. So I think you find many Jews who being Jewish is like third or fourth in a list of importance. It doesn't matter. And some that it's primary. So I just think that to think that Jews are a monolith, the same as thinking that black people are a monolith or the Hispanics are a monolith. They're just not. Jews aren't a monolith. And there are some Jews who there's a chunk of Jews who don't like Israel because they think it makes Jews more dangerous. And then some will think it's the homeland and it makes it safe. So it's wide, dude. I just don't think it's a monolith. I get where your head is. That's where you are. But a lot of people, I mean, they're not monolith. And some would never marry outside of their ethnic background or Jewish religion. They would only marry Jews. And some don't care at all. They marry whoever, whenever, they don't care. So that's what I think. Phil says, thank you for $2. I played Fortunate Son, not a recruitment song. Oh, they played. Oh, sorry. There we go. Thank you. There we go. Ryan says, thank you for $2. Big, beautiful Bill, aka Big Horrible Monstrosity. True. Absolutely true. What did Elon say? It can be big or beautiful, but not both. Yes. That Liberty says, member for 3 months. Thank you. More memberships, guys. Thank you so much. Sharpe withdrawal is a thing. Great to have you back. Staff Sergeant Sharpe, happy Father's Day. Yes, I am very happy that I have my 2 daughters. I'm very happy that I'm a father. I am very happy. I get some people who don't, but for me, I am very happy. Yes. All righty. Let's see here. Gene says, why did Israel attack Iran? Supposedly, and I'm doing a supposedly because I'm not really sure 100%. This is what they tell us. Iran supposedly has nuclear weapon facility about ready to get them nuclear. So they had to bomb them to kill the scientists and to bomb the sites so there would be no nuclear weapons. I'm not sure I buy that. I think the timing is right. Israel is trying to keep Iran down. I think that's true. Everyone would say that. I think now's the time. And again, Syria is broken. As I've told you before, Syria is broken. Russia is completely absorbed in Ukraine, cannot support Syria, cannot support Iran. Can't. They are completely absorbed in Ukraine. They cannot do it. That's not where they can do it. So they can't get Russian help. Syria is broken. Iran is just now starting to do 2 things. Some of you know this, some of you don't. Getting big support from China now. And as I just said, trying to make a real alliance with Turkey. Israel cannot have that. Israel cannot have most of those drones that came aboard that Iranians have sent over to Israel. They were Chinese. Yes, they were Chinese. So they're starting to bring these back over. They're starting to make that relationship, getting China in here. The UAE is trying to help support that. Turkey trying to support that too. If they make that UAE, Turkey, Iran connection, if they do, that's their goal. That's a bad thing for Israel. If the Chinese start supporting Iran, that's a bad thing for Israel. And then if this war ends, it looks like the Ukrainian war is not going to end until next year. If it ends at all, it'll end next year. If it ends, looks like Trump can't stop it this year. I don't see it. Maybe I have some hope, but I don't see it. I have hope. I still want it to end this year, but I think it won't. I think there will be another summer and winter offensive for the Russians. I don't see them stopping at all. I don't see the Ukrainians stopping them. I don't see it unless they actually put European troops in there. I don't see it. So when that begins to happen, I think they want to stop. They want to keep Iran down. And now's the, I've been telling you this before. The second that the Russia-Ukraine war ends, all those mercenaries, all those troops, all those drone flyers got to go someplace. Where are they going to go? Middle East. Middle East. They're going there. Well, now Israel knows they got another year left in in Ukraine, Russia. So they got a year. Okay, good. Whew. The talks have failed. They got a year there before that happens. That means they only got a year to hammer Iran. Iran figured that out, and they're like, okay, we need to get the Turks on our side, the Chinese on our side, something. They're working that deal right now. Maybe even UAE, somebody are going to decide. The problem is the Turks, UAE don't get along. They're also fighting in other parts of Africa too. They're backing each other in proxy wars. They're having UAE and Turkey are having proxy wars right now in Africa. Most people don't know that, but that's actually happening right now. So the proxy wars in Africa are horrible. Russians are there too. So Iran is under the government. It's in Iran, even after being attacked, is now like, can we talk? Iran's open to talk still. Even after the attacks by Israel, they're still open to talk. Iran is in a very bad spot right now. They're not in a good spot. So Israel is doing it now because it's the time. I told you guys this months ago, if you remember. I said Israel has to do everything it can before the Ukraine-Russia war ends. I told you that 6 months ago. 6 months ago, I told you that. That's why Netanyahu doesn't want that war to end. So I told you that's why it's going to be hard to end that war. They don't want it to end. That's going to release how many tens of thousands of drone operators and drones? Tens of thousands of them, trained soldiers. Where are you going to go? Now, UAE and Turkey want them in Africa. And a bunch already own Africa, obviously. So they want them in Africa. I get that. I understand you want them in Africa. Israel don't want them in Syria. They want them in Lebanon. They want them there. So Israel has to act now. Now, you may be pro or anti-Israel, whatever you want. I'm telling you what makes sense. Israel has to act now. Its timing is exactly right. So yes, it is the timing for them. That's perfect. So yes. Nate says, I thought Trump said Ukraine war will be over in day one. He did. Yes. Keishan says, Larry, I said this to Mike last night. I had TDS in the first term, then dropped it for my mental health and gave him a chance. It's slowly creeping back. Still think he's a narcissist sociopath. Yeah. And the funny thing is, I'm seeing this all over. This Iran thing, this Israel-Iran thing. Gao asks, why do so many Democrats hate Israel? One of the reasons is, for libertarians particularly, is that we are worried that Israel is going to get us into war with Iran. If we get into war with Iran over this, you're going to see a whole lot of people get TDS again, all over again. A whole lot. You're totally right. You're right. This is a bad thing for Trump if this happens. I don't think Trump wants war with Iran. I honestly don't think he does. I could be wrong. I don't think he does. That's what I'm saying. Daniel says, would we break NATO treaty if Turkey joins Iran? Most of NATO doesn't like Turkey. I'm saying the truth. Turkey goes against NATO all the time. All the time. Turkey's like NATO when it wants to be, and then not NATO when it doesn't want to be. That's how Turkey works. So, no, I don't think we would break it. I think it would put us in a very terrible spot. I think what would happen is we would actually wind up only fighting proxy wars. That's how it would work. We'd fight only proxy wars. We'd never actually fight Turkey directly because that would break NATO. So we'd fight proxy wars. That's what I think. Turks have already died in Africa in proxy wars against UAE already. They're already fighting that. Turks are sending troops out. Remember I told you how when you guys were talking about, the Russians are in so much trouble, they had to use North Korean troops or Chinese troops. No, they wanted to send them to bloody them. The Turks have no place to bloody their troops. So where are they sending them? Africa. Remember I told you the French got kicked out of Africa a long time ago, right? The Russians helped get rid of them. Why? Because the French wanted control, actual control. The Russians just want cash. That's all they want is cash. And the UAE and Turkey, they need some resources. So they're like, we'll buy the resources. And not just that, you can fight your civil war. We'll help you fight your civil war. Just make sure we can buy stuff off you for cheap. And they're like, but we're going to be using like children and like blood diamonds and stuff. Like, we don't care. It's fine. We're going to use we're like going to capture the people in our war and use them as slave labor to give you resources. Like, yep, all good. Fine. We don't care. I'm not joking. UAE doesn't care. Turkey does not care. So basically slave labor. Yep, all good. Can we get cheap price? Yes. Can you use your drones to protect our airspace so that we can actually get the trucks through? Will those trucks also bring us diamonds? Yes. Done. Yes, that's happening right now. So Turkey is sending its troops into these areas, drone strike troops, elite forces, to bloody them, to understand how the battle works, to rewrite all their manuals, because they want to be ready to fight, like we're doing. Same thing. If you noticed, America has canceled tons of its stuff. We canceled the M10, was it? That recent tank destroyer, whatever we were going to make? Canceled that thing. We canceled a bunch of stuff. Canceled the new Humvee. Canceled that. No new Humvee. Canceled it. Ukraine war changed everything. Changed everything. We canceled a bunch of stuff. So Turks aren't stupid, doing the same thing. Turks are sending a lot of troops into Africa, Sudan, South Sudan, Chad, all those areas to bloody them all, so they know how to fight in case they go into Syria. So anyway, Matt says, Iran's been weeks away from nukes since the 90s. Yeah, which I don't believe it. Yeah, I don't believe it. That's Republican propaganda. They've been saying Iran's about to get a nuclear weapon forever. None of that shit's true. It's not. This is timing for the Israelis can smash Iran now, so they are. Iran is I've been telling you this for months. Guys, if you're paying attention, Iran's in a very bad spot. The tax that they did against Iran, the Israelis did against Iran, people say, well, the Iranians set up October 7th. If they did, that was the dumbest thing they could have done. I think that someone else was in charge. Remember, the Iranians paid for it, obviously. But I don't think they actually yay, good idea. I think other people locally did that. That's what I think. They got the money from Iran. They got the money from other places, and they did it. Because that was the worst thing that could happen to Iran. October 7th gave the Israelis the opportunity and the ability to do whatever they wanted, and they have been doing it. I told you they'd invade Lebanon. They did. I told you they'd invade Syria. They did. They're going to create that buffer zone they've been talking about forever. Gross in Israel is already happening, and they haven't stopped bombing Gaza yet. They were going to do it the entire time. I told you they were going to, and they did. I told you now it's time they're going to hit Iran, that they can't wait till that goddamn war's over. The war's not over yet. Keep bombing Iran. The second that war is over, I mean, the Ukraine-Russia war is over, and the troops are dispatched, whenever that happens, you're going to watch peace between Israel and Iran. I'm calling it now. Israel's going to be happy with peace. So they don't want those troops. They don't want that smoke. Send those guys to the Democratic Republic of Congo. Send them there. Send them to Burundi, right? Send them to Rwanda, Chad, Sudan. Sudan's in a civil war. Send them to fight in Ethiopia, Eritrea. Fight there. That's what they wanted to go to, not the Middle East. And I guarantee you there'll be tens of thousands of those guys fighting in Africa. Guaranteed, as mercenaries. Guaranteed. I'm calling it now, just so you're aware. I make a prediction sometimes. Guarantee that will happen. 100%. Yes. So, all righty. Let me grab that if I can. Gal said, Gal, I'm glad you're still here. Where Palestinians go, violence follows. Gazans attacked Israel. Israel has the right to defend itself and keep all the enemies from accessing nuclear weapons. Okay. You're right when it comes to Palestinians. People don't want Palestinians. It's true. The Palestinians, where they go, they do. Yes, you're not wrong. And they attacked Israel. Guaranteed, yes. And Israel will defend itself. It does. It does not have, to be forward, no one has the right. Not us, not America, nothing. No one has the right to stop another nation from using nuclear weapons. We just do it because we can, right? If that was true, why didn't we stop North Korea? Why didn't we stop India? Why didn't we stop Pakistan? Why didn't we stop Israel? Why didn't we stop them from having nuclear weapons? Because we couldn't. This is a right to stop someone from accessing nuclear weapons. That's shit you made up. That's Republican talking points. That's not real. The other parts, you're right. The other top parts, you're right. But no one has a right to go, you don't get to have that. Why? Because I say so. There's no right to do that. You do it because you can. And they can. You couldn't stop Pakistan because you weren't prepared to invade. You couldn't stop India because you weren't prepared to invade. You couldn't stop Israel. Well, we know why. That's why you got it. Not because they have a right to. If what you said is true, then we should have stopped Pakistan, India, South Africa, Israel. We should stop them all. North Korea, we should have stopped all of them. Why couldn't we stop North Korea? Because we couldn't. Because China would have gotten involved. So there's no right. That you made up. The last part you made up. But the first three, you're totally right. I agree. All true. All true. Again, and Russians are transactional, unlike the West when it comes to Africa. And that is their biggest piece. You're right. That's their advantage. They're transactional. You're right. And that helps them tremendously. Helps them a lot. Yes. Paul says, who failed to emphasize math and science did this? What? This did not begin with Trump or Biden. Why is so much emphasis on entertainment influencers? Oh, you mean culturally? Yeah. No, you're right. That's true. We've made it to where that's all that matters. It's a good point. It's a cultural issue. Yes, it's a cultural issue. So, all righty. Gal, you don't have to talk. I got you. After expulsion from Jordan, they tried to take over Lebanon. True. No, God, the Palestinians have been a problem. They've been an issue. I agree. But in my view, we should have absolutely fixed this a long time ago. We never did. We've never fixed this. We allowed it to fester, and so it still festers. Yeah, we have allowed it to fester, and it still festers. Paul was going to say our values are misaligned, and Trump isn't changing that. He's ever more focused on freak shows. I would say there were two presidents in modern, if you want to call modern, who actually cared about that kind of thing. And that actually was both Carter and Reagan. They kind of cared about values. Once Clinton got in, that was the end. You may not like Carter, you may not like Reagan, but I think both of them cared about culture. They did. Again, you may disagree with them, but they did care about culture. Carter was one of the guys who said he sinned in his heart, right? But that's what was just in his heart. He mentioned that. Reagan was about morning in America, caring about, so they did talk about culture and cared about culture. After that, Clinton and on, they didn't care. They're like, whatevs. They didn't care. So yeah, they didn't care about that anymore. So, all righty. Let's see here. Nathan talking to Shelly. One of my favorite things is watching people in the same thread explain how libertarians are both far left and far right. True. Absolutely true. Yes, 100% true. All righty. Phil, thank you for $2. What about the Shah's son paraded around recently? What? Don't know what you're talking about. Is that true? Is that real? Phil, I don't know. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I haven't caught up yet. I tried to catch up to the best I could. Maybe I must have missed that piece. I don't know. Are they trying to, is he the new guy they're going to reinstall the Shah? God, I hope not. That'd be terrible. That would be horrible reinstall the Shah. Oh my God, I hope that doesn't happen. I mean, that would, yeah. I hope that's not true. I'm going to say that's not true. I don't know if it is. I'm going to say it's not because that would be terrible. Daniel says, $2. Isn't Iran pounding Israel like no one ever has? Yes, because they have a bunch of those Chinese drones. They are. But how long is those drones going to last? And then the response, right? Is Iran in a spot where it can do a long-term battle with Israel? No, for a very important reason. America will support them. If it was just Israel versus Iran and that's it, and there was no America at all, Israel would also be looking for peace. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. If it was just Israel and Iran only, Israel would be looking for peace right now too. No doubt. But Israel has America. So that's the reason. But you're right. Iran is not just rolling over, but it's prepared to talk. Already, they're already not prepared to talk. They're like, okay, yeah, we're bombing, but can we stop? Remember how I've told you that you can talk to your enemies while still fighting. That's what smart countries do. Stupid countries like us go, we don't talk to terrorists. That's fucking stupid, but we do that. The right move is talk, still fight, but talk. Try to make a good deal when you can. Iran's like, yeah, we're fighting, but can we stop? So, and look, if I'm Iran, I'm thinking the same way. I'm saying if I'm Iran, I don't want any more smoke. Iran's not in a good spot. They just aren't. It's the fact that, and you'll hear people who love Iran go, Iran is the most powerful country and they're so great, blah, 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 all that stuff, right? They'll talk that trash. Okay, if it makes you feel good. Look, Iran is not a pushover. They're not going to fall tomorrow. And the Persian people, Iranian people have been around for thousands of years. They're not rolling over. They're not just going to quit. That's not a thing. They're not going to do that. They've been through worse, and they're not going to do that. But they're not in a good spot to fight. Just not. They would rather not fight if they don't have to. So, yes. All righty. Let me walk down here. A couple of these if I can. All right. Biquode? I keep pronouncing that. It's Kyode, so it must be Biquode. U.S. helped all these governments get nukes. I don't doubt that. Either helped or ignored. Either one, which is kind of the same, similar, but one or the other. And this goes to my point. We don't have a right to stop people from doing it. We just decide to ones that we can and ones that we can't. So we actually do. That's what we actually do. So, yes. Michael says, Iran doesn't need its own nuclear program. North Korea can supply with any nukes they want. Iran has been helping them with their missile systems. Yeah, the issue becomes here, right? Here's the problem with that, Michael. How do they get there? Right? What country wants to be part of that shipping? Right? For them to do that, they would have to ship that through Russia or through shipping lanes. Okay, how do you get those nukes through shipping lanes? You could in theory, but you'd have to have such a secret. If America or any ally found out that those were on a ship somewhere, that ship's getting boarded. Guarantee I will bet you $1 gazillion. If someone actually found out that there were weapons like that on some ship leaving a North Korean port and going to land in some Iranian port, that ship is absolutely getting boarded. 100% getting boarded and captured. Just someone's taking it, right? Worst, maybe pirates do. That'd be the worst. But if not, Americans are taking that. That ship's getting taken by Americans. So how do you do that? It's got to be a land route. Well, North Korea does border Russia. Doesn't it? A big chunk of it does. So you boom, pop it into Russia. Russia goes all the way across through Turkey into Iran. Done. You could do it. That's how you do it. But then is Russia going to be responsible for that? Turkey going to be responsible for that? If Turkey's an ally, yes. So That's the only way. But that's a big point. That is a big point. Adam says, I see your point on cultural nuance. Democrat Jews must be Sephardic and not Ashkenazi. Oh, I didn't know if is that a thing? Oh, it's a joke. I didn't. Okay. I'm not Jewish enough, Adam, to know that joke. So I guess that's fun. I don't know that joke. Yeah. All right. All righty. Let's see here. Jay just says, wasn't Carter an anti? I don't know I don't think he was. Maybe. I don't think he was. But is it? That doesn't really mean anything, does it? Wasn't Carter the one who put the Camp David Accords together to make them have peace or something? I don't know. I don't think he was. So yes. So any case. All righty. Paul says, Michelle tried to give better food options as well as create a healthy population. That was cultural. Good point. Okay. When it comes to the first ladies, I think they have often done cultural things. I think that's true. Remember, even Reagan's wife, Nancy Reagan, just say no. I think the first ladies do that. That's true. I'm talking presidents, though. But your point's a valid one. When it comes to first ladies, I think they have. I think that's accurate. But yeah. Yeah. All righty. Okay. I'm just going to go down here. All right. Grab a couple of these. Phil says China, Pakistan, Iran. I don't think that was for me. Michael says Russia has massive shadow fleets and is already in an Iranian ally. Yes, so it could be done, but even if, here's what I would tell you, Michael, for sure. If Russia's shadow fleet was found out, if it was, that it was floating a nuclear weapon someplace, it's getting boarded. It's getting boarded. Guaranteed. It would have to be a land route. Because remember, once you get out there, it's international waters. Legally, it's kind of like okay. But are we going to, if it's a land route, are we going to send our bombers to bomb a truck or train or whatever unit, an armored vehicle, whatever's carrying this thing? We're going to bomb it in Russia? We're going to bomb it in Turkey? We bomb it in Iran? Yes. We bomb it in Iran. We're not bombing that thing in Russia. We're not bombing that thing in Turkey. We're not. That's not a thing. Will we bomb it in Iran? Yes. Will we seize it on the high seas? 100%. So it's just, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying it's tough, right? So yes, that is tough. That's the whole issue. So Gal says entire Arab League couldn't beat Israel. I don't know if you've been watching, but I've been talking this for a while. The only nation Israel has to worry about, and two nations. There's two nations, and they're totally different reasons. One is Saudi Arabia, and the other is Turkey. Saudi Arabia, not because they have a massive military. They have a decent military, but they have cash. They can basically buy enough people, which again goes back to my Iraq. It goes back to my Ukraine-Russia war. If Ukraine and Russia war ends, there will be tens of thousands of battle-hardened, bloody troops who know both drone and trench warfare, who know both of those things. The Saudis just buy them all. I'm not joking. They just buy them. How many we need? We need 40,000, 100,000. Okay, here's the money. Go ahead. And these guys only need $3 or $4 grand a month. That's it. I got 20,000 of them. So what's that? A couple $1 million, 10, 20 $million a month? That's nothing for them. That's nothing for the. I got to pay what, $40 million a month, or whatever, for an army? Done. They'd happily pay that. Wouldn't think twice. That would be a problem for Israel if that were happening. Now, Saudi Arabia and Israel get along relatively. So the odds of that being a problem are slim. That's what I'm saying. If there was an actual deal, which is why the Chinese are trying to create an Iran-Saudi Arabia peace deal. For that reason, Gal, they're trying to create that. It has not worked. But if it does work, again, I'm saying if all these come together, if it does work, that would change things. Or the Turks. The Turks would beat the Israelis. You may think they won't. You're fooling yourself. They will. They're bloodied. They have cash. They have a military. They're dedicated. They have a martial culture, and they outgun the Israel about 10-1. So there's 90 million Turks, and they're basically a fascist state. Basically, I mean they're not, but they basically are. So they could put their army together anytime they want. So that'd be an issue. And if the Turks came aboard, again, if the Iranians joined them, now you have Iranian rocket technology, right? Backed by Chinese, backed by North Koreans, and then a Turkish army that's massive. That would be a problem. So that's the only way it would work, right? It'd be either the Saudis decide they're going to fight the Israelis, which again, not realistic right now, but if it were to happen, they could buy the militaries of the Ukrainians and Russians after the war's over. I'm being forward. The Israelis aren't going to survive that if that happens. That was my worry. America would have to quit. Hold on, let me grab that piece here. Where was I there? All right, that'd be one way, and the other way would be is if the Turks actually came across the border. And again, neither of those are realistic now, but that's the only concern. That is the only concern. I hope that makes sense. All righty, here. If I can grab some more of these, or I can keep doing this. We're almost about. I think I've gone through a bunch of these already. So Daniel says Kennedy was anti-Semitic. Was he? I believe you. I don't actually know that. Joel says Hillary was the most damaging first lady to ever do a project. She was going to fix healthcare. People with insurance would pay for people without insurance. That's when the copay started. Yeah, well, look, she was one of the first ladies who didn't do a cultural thing. You're right. First ladies often did something cultural, which people seem to, accept that as true. That was the issue. Matt says people confuse anti-Semitism with anti-Zionism. True. They're not the same. They are not the same. Absolutely true. So I think I grabbed a bunch of those. I grabbed a bunch of that, which is good too. Awesome. Guys, I want to ask them if I could, please click the button on his like, if you would. Click that like button. It does matter. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Please make sure that you are sharing this right now. If you are not sharing it, then you don't like our troops. As I said, please follow me if you would. And remember, after the show is over, please comment after the live. Put something down there. Here I'm going to ask you, please comment on what you thought about the parade. Good, bad, didn't matter what the case may be. What do you think about the parade? I do appreciate it if you can. This is not live when you're watching the day, tomorrow, whatever the case may be. 2 days might pop up right here. Please watch one of them for at least 8 minutes. The algo likes that too. I will see you all very soon.